the crops haven't been that great. The food's just not running out, but it's like not a great turn of harvest, not a great wheat harvest so far. They're kind of waiting, and you realize there are people like starting to gather in the town square, and it's like kind of like almost a riot.
Ooh.
There's a bunch of the populace, a bunch of the farmers, a bunch of the local populace, and they're outside the sheriff's office. They're accosting a couple of Washburn's men that are in Dredgewater itself, and it's clear you can hear from the clamor of voices. They want to know what's going to get done. Like we're starving here. We're not sure if we're really going to make it. You're our lord. You're our protector. And they're talking to Washburn through his men, kind of harassing the heck out of a couple of these guys who are looking really kind of like not sure if they want to be there. They're sitting there in their leather armor with their little short swords.
We've got starving peasants. This ain't going to go well.
They don't want to deal with the populace at all. And in the meantime, our good sheriff is not looking terribly happy about the entire thing at all.
Is the sheriff in the middle of that, or is he standing to the side?
Sheriff Hassel's, kind of in the middle of this. He looks like he'd rather be anywhere else right now. And he's trying to field questions from people. Listen, I'm not a farmer. I don't have what? You think I've got a store of wheat in my house? Listen, I do the same stuff you are.
Yeah.
Tend to your fields. Things will look up. It'll be all right. It'll be all right, right? Right? And he kind of looks over at Wolford. The heroes of there's the heroes of Dredgewater, right there. I mean,
their repute precedes them now, right?
Tell them, Wolford.
This is what happens when you're the hero. You got to fix the famine now, don't you?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
And I kind of like swagger.
You shoulder it.
You got to shoulder all the burdens.
One of the women is. What we'd like to know is what are we going to do about this? The Lord's probably got all kinds of stuff stored up in his walled little town there.
Oh shit!
I'm sure they're not missing any meals. But I had to give me Jimmy like just a little bit last night. My children are going to starve. I'm not sure if the crops are going to come through that well or not, and I'm not sure if what we got is going to keep us through the winter. Maybe Washburn's got some of his stores he could give to us.
Guarantee he does.
Help his people, being the Lord Protector.
Washburn's eating chicken and apples right now.
That's a good point. Sheriff, there's no way to help these villagers?
And that's what looks like whose side are you on?
Well, I'm just trying to help.
What about trade? Is trade still being blocked to and from town?
And one of the farmers said, "Who knows if trade's being blocked or not? But after what happened to the men who were coming back in here from some of the other towns, you think they really want to come through here and risk being hung from the trees?"
I see.
Maybe we can go see if we can escort a caravan to bring some food if we have what to trade with.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe you could escort somebody to go bring us some food to help with the trade a little bit. What are we going to trade for it? Well, Washburn's got to have something. And then get people looking at each other thinking, we've got some firewood.
Well, with her, I suppose we could ask for an audience with his lordship again.
Ooh.
That's right, an audience with his lordship.
Says the
Washburn's
witch.
not there, right? He's hiding away.
Washburn's not there. A couple of his representatives, a couple of his guys are just in town, rally to pick up some supply, maybe to get some eggs, who knows. And they're just looking like.
Do you know how you cure all ills in the Dark Ages, Del?
why am I wearing this livery right now? Nothing fancy, but they've got his.
You're muted. That's okay. I'll tell you. You rob your neighbor. That's how you cure all ills.
And they look like they might have
They
eaten
take
a little
food from
better
Mort
than
to
else
feed
around
their
here.
people. No, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Let's go. Let's see. Maybe we can help Lord Washburn with this situation. Why not?
Help Lord Washburn? Yeah, maybe you can get him to help us. Maybe open up some of those supplies, some of those coffers. He's got.
You start to raid the enemy, or you start to raid your neighbor
So
to
people
feed
are
your
really
people.
looking at
That's exactly what you do.
And
you do it on the
Make me
lowdown.
a nice
Right?
prestige roll there, Wolford.
All right.
And let's
One
see.
man's raider, right, is another man's
hear-
hero.
I can hear Jason right now. It's prestige roll, Ivan. Prestige. He's trying to calm this.
No, I'm sorry,
calm
Ivan. I'm
down.
too busy talking
Total
smack
of
about how I would handle this
Okay.
situation. I would rob my neighbor.
Maybe it's because you're the
I missed the whole
local
reason you would
hero
roll prestige.
of Dredgewater.
I'm too busy
But,
entertaining
it seems
myself.
like,
I'm sorry.
Let Wolford go talk to him. Yeah, he'll help us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old Wolford.
Now, Brother Dunstan, I'm not even certain they would allow him into the actual manse
One of
because
Washburn's men,
he's
it's like go running right.
got a reputation of talking to wolves in the street.
I lean over to Brother Douglas and said, "We better be ready to run if this goes bad."
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to have to fight these people.
It's a good thing I'm so tech savvy.
Well,
Exactly.
let us talk to
Yeah, a couple of old
Washburn.
men with high-tech
Perhaps-
gadgets. Good luck.
Perhaps the key to solving this
Just
issue
bang on
lies with paying Lord Mott a visit.
I've been looking forward to this third session. I was hoping they would play another session. It's great fun.
Washburn's,
It's great
you
fun.
go
Yeah,
to
they-
Bridgetown. Pretty easy. You've got his two men there.
They certainly have
They're
memorable
more than
characters,
happy.
no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm sure
Deal
they're
with you.
concerned.
Yeah. Sheriff Bassel, oddly enough, is more than happy to go pay Lord Washburn a visit as well, because it's not in town, and so they take him to the short. It's really right down the road, so to speak. You can see it from Dredgewater, really. So you enter through his.
Tell you,
gates,
if I was Wolfred, I'd be
he's got
aiming to
some
get
high walls
Basil's
there,
job. I'd be
protecting
telling
the,
Washburn, you need a new
protecting the
sheriff.
compound. You've been in there before.
I mean, you need a guy who actually does the job, If
But
I'm
it's
Wolford, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be
clearly,
the new sheriff in town,
It's clearly fortified.
Yeah.
There are, places for horses in there, places for his guards, his basic servants. It's still not opulent by any means. The guy's got a little, the guy's got some holdings, but not that you have anyone really know what rich is. Maybe Wolford had seen some from his lord up, Norfolk, but that's not this.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. This is just a guy with a little bit more than everybody else that owns the place and has some men to kind of back him up.
Nice.
And that's about that.
Nice.
Yeah, let's see. Well, yeah, you can. No problem. You can get an audience with him. His men, go in there. They're already talking to other members about the practice. Right, we almost died. Vassal's like, I think I should sleep here. I don't think I should go back to town for a while. And in the meantime, one of the other guards, well, who's going to be the sheriff? Well, so we're not going to have a sheriff. If
I
I'm
told you,
dead.
Wolford needs to apply for the job.
The finger pointing and the arguments are
Jose would make a good sheriff in
are going
Dredgewater.
back and forth quite a bit.
Or, excuse me, Wolfred would make a good sheriff in Dredgewater.
Let us see if Lord Washburn can talk to us now. I think this qualifies us something urgent.
Alrighty, so Washburn, is sitting in his passes for a dining room, his hall. Send him in. And already his, you can clearly see some of his men have already been talking about riots. Riot. What do the people want?
It's getting
What am I
good now.
supposed to do for them?
We're talking.
Yeah.
We're talking to the Lord now. It's getting good.
Gentlemen,
Lordship, the people of the town are hungry, Lord. Between the weevils and the doings of Lord Mott, people are hungry. They grumble and wonder if you have stores of food
Oh no.
to share with them.
Crap.
No.
And he stands up everything.
That's basically telling the Lord, fork over
Leaves
your
it to, like,
your
out of the hall.
refrigerator.
There's a window.
Yeah. Dangerous.
Pulls back this hide.
Very dangerous.
Everything you see out here. These are my lands. Those are my people tending my flocks.
I love it.
Those are my deer.
Love it.
These are my crops.
Love it. Ivan's got it down.
Without me, these people have nothing. And they want
Dang.
me. What do they want me to give them? Do you see fields in here? Do you see deer in here? What are we going to do? Give them the horses? Sure, we have something here. But this is my house. This is my holdings. I'm not carrying a whole store full of stuff for all these people. If we open up everything we have here, we'd all starve.
What of Lord Mott? Does he not owe?
You starve from the bottom up in most cultures.
For having killed the men?
Right? The bottom starves first. The top, the head dies last.
Yep.
What I
Welcome to the world.
To get back at him. He's been a thorn in my side for as long as I can remember. People tell me the trade is slow now because people fear another attack.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Maybe we could help. Protect some traders, if that would help.
Or go after his livestock.
There we go. Now see, Eloy's thinking like me now. Right? How do you feed your people? You steal from your neighbor, especially the one who's a bastard.
He has grain stored up in his.
There you go. See, Eloy and I would make a good team.
Owe us?
He's thinking just like me.
He does. No.
I don't need to kill Mort. I'm just going to rob Mort and feed our people.
There's trade coming to him. Not directly through here, but on the roads. The road's just east.
Return the favor.
Washburn is about to employ 3 men
some of that
to do the same thing Mort's been doing to his people.
I don't know. I don't know what the priest is going to do.
I know exactly. What's the priest going to say?
If some kind of block on the road would encourage them to come a little further,
save the people.
Mm-hmm.
Our direction.
Risky.
Mm-hmm. Levy attacks.
Wolford hasn't said a damn thing. No. It's going to be somebody else.
Oh boy, are you good at this?
This is awesome.
Let me see.
So we've got.
Hey, Runeslinger said weed was in the flower.
I think you got something like a prestige of 2, right?
Who did?
I've got a prestige of 1.
Anthony.
Oh, he did? Where's he at?
Okay, well then
on the chat.
Oh, is he? I don't see him on my chat. I'll be darned. That's awesome.
Yeah, for that particular.
Oh, there he is. Yes, very cool. Outstanding. Anthony, hello, Anthony. We see you there, my friend. That's awesome. So anyway, he's presented them with a legitimate dilemma, and he's letting them.
I want coming back.
Come up with the plan to fix it, right? To deal with it, which is cool.
Rectify the situation.
Instead of giving them a mission, right? Let them come up with a plan.
It's a good idea, but
perhaps there is a way around this. Have you a map of the area? Where's the trade route? I want to see.
We have a bit of a map. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Weed was in the flower.
Oh, he had to sneeze?
And he sneezes a mighty sneeze. Yeah, we have a bit of a map, and he pulls out the sheet and
Booger's in the flower now.
Show me if there's a main trade route, something that perhaps we can use. Is there a fork in the road leading to our village as well? A point where we might deviate.
You got me wanting popcorn
instead of.
Boy, it is so good.
Sending it ours.
It is.
You can convince.
You know, it's like watching my favorite TV stories. Gotta have popcorn.
No, I don't want anything. Don't want anything diverted by force, because that will come back to me immediately.
Know your lord.
Other ways to.
Know your lord.
Other ways. routes for these traders.
My lord, the will of man is often easily influenced promises of reward. And when one can reward better than another,
I've got to mute Dell for a minute. His headphones are picking up the sound.
Well, what do you suggest? What do we reward with? Thinking about Mortis, he's a bastard, but he's got influence. He's got more than I have. His men are well trained, and a couple of the soldiers start to look. The couple of his guards start to look a little insulted. Well fed, well trained. You might be able to. I'd love to find a way to take that bastard out entirely.
We have Father Jared with us. He's a man of God. I'm sure that some of these traders will listen to him. They're good Christians.
It's possible.
One would hope that using me as a conduit, the Lord could persuade them.
It's not a crime if God's on your side, right? You are in the right. Right?
Well, I don't mind if you give that a try, but nothing, no violence, nothing that's going to sound of banditry. But, the other thing is, a full-on attack on Mort would be disastrous. And I can't afford an actual conflict.
Now, do we look like violent men, my lord?
Yes, you do. And a good thing you are.
Just the priest. Just the priest with the axe looks like a violent man.
What I'd like you to do, while you're on this mission to talk to people, see if you convince some traders it might be safe to come here, and perhaps spare some of their goods. We'll just take a look around his holdings, see if there's a way, something you think that might work.
I mean, while we're in the area, it wouldn't hurt to have more information.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing can come back to me, you understand? But if you can kill him, or somebody close to him.
We'll have to see what his stronghold is like, but probably there's something we can do to get his attention. Probably there's something we can.
And if that does mean relieving someone of their earthly bonds, I suppose that is the way it is intended to be.
You're my kind of priest, Father.
He's like justified it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
God's will. If somebody winds up dead, so be it. It's God's will, right?
I'd like to study this map, Lord, for a bit, if I may, before I leave.
Of course.
Father Smith, perhaps you would be so kind as to pick up some supplies from the village.
I think I can manage.
A bit of wine, a bit of bread, a bit of milk, and a bit of honey, if you please. Not too much, just
enough to get us by.
Like
in the meantime, breakfast. You may join me for breakfast as well. And he starts yelling at people, and as Brother Johnson's bringing up the map, a large amount of eggs. What looks like sausage.
Oh shit!
And some gravy. Some porridge.
Now, can the man of God eat this without taking some eggs to the poor?
One would get the impression that his crying poverty.
Let's see if the man of God will take a few eggs under his robes for the poor, right?
Boethius would have.
Study the map, looking specifically for
himself. You mean?
A crossroads, right, in the forest, preferably, that leads either
Don't be feeding popcorn to that dog, Dale.
Bot's territory
Sorry.
or to our village, right?
Right.
My
Yeah,
dog
what you
loves
actually have to
popcorn.
do is
Loves
go-
I
popcorn.
would be honest, you're
through
sitting there
Northwood
looking
a
at
little
me.
bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
the trail
I
where the
can't
bodies
not
are.
feed my dog scraps,
You know,
man. I mean,
north
you know,
of
what are
that,
you doing? They're
there's
living
a split
when they're looking at
where
you.
it diverts. It diverts actually east of here.
My
past
dog
Eastwood,
loves popcorn.
and then clearly it's going toward Budamad Mort's lands, and then the regular trail. So that's probably the major fork you would see where traffic is going to divert one way or the other.
Yes. So, I will gather the supplies that I requested, and I huddle with Wolfherd and Jarek. There is something I might attempt. A conjuring at the crossroads to divert traffic this way. I
Oh
think
crap! I love
perhaps
his magic.
A little illusion, right?
trickery.
The road only goes
we might
one way.
achieve
An illusion.
what we dare not attempt via force of arms. I'll strike a bargain
You know, I have
with the
to
spirits of the
what's
forest
he coming up with now?
Yeah.
and see if
You
I
know,
can
this
do
spell
this.
isn't in D&D
Are you
Or
sure that
AD&D.
is safe, Brother Dunstan?
or AD&D
That-
2, 3, 3.5,
Nothing
Pathfinder
is
4,
safe.
5.
Nothing is safe.
This spell ain't in any of that shite.
but I
Bless
shall
be, I will add another prayer for you tonight.
No,
you just take care
There
of
is. Actually, there are
ourselves, and
illusion
then take care of the
spells
trickery
in those
part.
games.
It's simple.
This is the only way I sleep at night, Mr. Wolford. The only way.
I shall be headed for the crossroads before. Shall be headed there to get there by sunset.
Yeah, that's easy. It's not that.
So what are they doing? They hijacking some
Yeah.
of his goods?
Yeah, I think they're
To
gonna
get to the
they're gonna
crossroads
steer
itself,
the
you have to
traffic
go through
into
the
their
Northwood.
trap, right?
And
Do a little
close
Robin Hood antics.
to where you're
Right,
heading out
right,
of
little Robin
Northwood
Hood.
itself.
Steal from the bad,
There's a
give
spot
to
where
your
that trail
people.
goes through where it's not that thick, So you're not going through a majority of that part of the wood. It's getting a little on the dark side. You're a bit before the crossroads.
Yeah.
All right, before we leave the castle,
It started moving to the dark side when they started
I'm
talking
going
about
to-
robbing and
I'm
killing their
gonna try and
neighbor.
use my spanking
It went to the
new,
dark side about
first
20 minutes
volume
ago.
too,
Quick, yeah.
to see if between the weapons we looted from these guys and whatever goats I have left from the wolf hunt, I can get a better mail shirt from the castle blacksmith.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because mine is poor, so
He's already
I'm
pretty
not shooting
freaking
for excellent, but if I can at least get a good one,
awesome.
one that's not falling apart.
Yeah. That's pretty much going to take most of your
Yeah, expensive stuff.
wealth, so to speak. But you're able to get one that's in much, much better shape.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. And we didn't have to make a roll, right?
It's just upgrade
there.
from poor to good, which doesn't add a bonus, but my sword breaks, at least
He's making a roll.
I can fight still. Excellent.
Right.
Does the Lord's Stronghold have a church?
Chapel.
Not a church. The church is in town. There's just a kind of a passable chapel.
Yeah, one of those places you go and
But
kneel real
it's like
quick,
a little- it's
pray,
an altar,
get up and leave. An altar, yeah.
I mean, you
No.
can certainly use
No.
it.
No active chaplain.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Get him
You're
in the
it.
closet.
Jarek, you're it, man.
Doesn't have a fountain by chance, does it?
Sure.
I just, I wish to cleanse my cross. In
Nice.
some holy water, some blessed water. Maybe polish it up a little bit.
Nice.
It's gotten dirty over time. Am I being clear that I want to improve the quality of my iron cross?
Oh,
I love
well, you have to pray hard.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be How hard is that going to be?
Please, God.
No.
Right? Channel your holiness through my cross.
Okay.
Make it beautiful and irresistible.
And with this dice, 5.
And with this cross, Lord, I will convert many a man and woman.
5 total?
5 total.
It looks a lot nicer.
Ooh.
Yeah, looks shinier. I appreciate it. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Looks burnished now, Father.
Nice.
It's burnished.
There we go.
But give me a luck roll.
Oh, uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, Jarrett. He did say it was an iron cross. It's only going to rust now with all that dipping it in holy water. It's going to be a rusty cross.
Jim. Well, at least when the combat comes around, you'll be doing great.
10.
Oh, nice.
10, including your luck.
Including my -1 modifier. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, he took a negative in luck? Holy shit.
You're cleaning it. You're
I didn't know that.
burnishing it. It's
That's not in our game. That's not a great idea to take a
praying.
negative in luck. Yeah, it's a. Oh,
there is.
Jim is gutsy. Damn.
This at all.
Well, what's the saying?
like
He
a-
must have faith
a-
if he's taking a negative
A
in luck.
silver cross.
Oh.
It's kind of hung over there. It's there. You can take it if you want to.
Uh-oh.
It is technically stealing.
He's tempting. He's tempting
Is it
Jarrett
stealing if I
to
return
commit
it?
a sin.
With every intent,
Yes.
with every intent to turn a man of the cloth, taking a holy item to make good use
Just leave a
of,
note.
and return
Just
to
replace
its
it.
place of belonging.
I like the way he thinks.
Is that stealing?
There's a bit of
good of the
mischief
community.
that runs through Ivan, I think.
Absolutely.
This is between you and your.
Just
and
a
your
little bit of
girlfriend.
mischief.
So you're taking the silver cross.
Absolutely.
So
If this was a
thinking on
rap
these
band, Ivan would be Mischief
Wolfer's got
DM.
his
Right on.
fake and email.
That would be his
And Jared,
his
well,
rap
he's got
name.
this cross, which may or may not, maybe he's know
What
something.
condition is the silver cross in?
Oh, it's let's see. That's right. We got it. It's excellent. That's beautiful. Beautiful little
That
cross,
is excellent. And as my
Dang.
as my offer of good faith in returning the item, I will leave my personal iron cross in its place.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Wow.
Excellent. Okay. Fantastic.
Not the poor quality iron cross.
So, as you're just about leaving the
Hang up some ratty
woods, you're
old
trying to get out.
cross. You know,
things happen
Washburn's
all at
wife
once.
will walk through, Lady Washburn will walk through there one day coming to pray. What
You
the
know
hell
this.
is that? Where did my cross go?
There's some really large webs.
He'll come in with her cross hanging around his neck. Lady Washburn will go,
spider
I've
might
seen
make
that cross before.
in
Where
some
did
of
you
the
get
trees. And that same moment, you hear this kind of like crack. And if you look up just fast enough, you see that there's this impossibly large spider just dropping
that? Oh,
from the trees.
we
right
got
towards
it.
Brother
We have an
Johnson.
RSC.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
This is an
Is
RSC.
everybody
baby.
with me, or am I alone?
No, you're not.
It's-
You guys are together. I mean, he was just selected randomly.
Cool.
I'm gonna try to run and shield bash it to see if I can bat it away from him.
We have us an
Okay.
RSC, giant spider. Oh, damn.
Rush at it behind my shield.
So
Nice.
you're taking the,
Where's he
taking
at?
over the team. All right.
And what? Meanwhile, story-wise, I will be running after Brother Dunstan to remove him from
Harm.
the zeroed-in space where the spider
Oh, man.
projected to drop.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So you're going to try to tackle him out of the kill
Yeah.
zone? The kill box. Okay, good. All right. Well,
Exactly.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's make this fun and not use my. I'm not using my sword, so we're gonna go without a bonus, just with my regular body.
Ooh, nice.
Rushing this thing, and that's an 11 on the dice, so 15.
Ooh, nice. Holy
Okay.
cow. I think Wolford does not like
So you
spiders.
bash
What do you
this
think?
thing. So it'd be preventing it from hitting Brother Dunstan. Go ahead, Jarek.
Pushing Dunstan out of harm's way.
Or, I'm assuming this is a body check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 4.
Mm-hmm.
The good. The bad news is you don't quite, get. I mean, Brother Dunstan. Maybe Brother Dunstan was just had his weight on the wrong foot, so you kind of like collapse into him. But the bad news is you don't push him out of like where the spider is kind of still landing. The good news is that like you're not in the way, so to speak.
You push Dunstan directly under the spider.
So the spider does take damage, but it's still single-mindedly.
Oh man!
Attacks Brother Dunstan.
Holy cow!
Jeez. So okay.
Make a roll.
So it's a combat roll.
Yeah, it's combat roll. Unless you want to do something else.
Yep. Well, I put my hand in a pouch held by the rope at my waist, and I draw a strange alchemical powder and throw it at the spider while screaming.
Yeah. I'm sure Wilford has given you enough time to do that, bashing the spider.
Yeah, yeah.
So I scream.
Be small, giant spider. That's what I would scream.
Fuego, protégeme.
Fuego.
I would make it tiny so I can just step on it.
Look, he said.
Oh, nice.
15.
Oh, okay.
Damn, these guys, they got loaded dice, I swear to God.
So the powder that I threw,
me constantly rolling 2s and 3s.
I made one roll last night, gentlemen, in 1 hour and 47 minutes, and it was a critical failure, so, hey.
Excellent. So like the little hairs on
2 rolls for the night. One was a critical fail.
Man, this thing's got
Mine was 2.
Really
2 of them were 3s.
And they glint in that light.
We need to get some new dice.
If I get a chance, I'm going to start hacking it.
How much do I love the D12?
Yeah,
a bag of D12. That's how much I love the D12.
Ooh, you wouldn't want to get those in there.
Those are for the convention. I bought all these D12s for the convention.
All right.
Oh, really?
So, got a total of 9.
I did at the convention.
4 plus 5 is 9.
Okay, well, that's too bad.
Of course, I gave them to the guys.
This thing is
these
fast.
I would let them keep.
It's got eyes all on its head, and it's also like if you didn't quite miss it, but you're glancing off of the hide of this thing, and it's like hitting like saddle leather.
Okay.
Ooh.
Man, this thing is huge.
That means I'm fatigued, right? It attacks me then, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Right. With one of its hairy legs.
It's just like not that it hit, attack you as such, but like just that hit, and you don't really expect it to be that tough.
Right.
And just that telegraphing of that force back up your arm, like, oh, yeah, that's awful. That's an awful thing.
I think that's the first time Wolford's been suffered a condition.
Okay. Well, in that case, the spider is really pissed at Wolford.
All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Combat roll. This time I roll a 13.
Wow, nice. He's got plus 6
That's
though.
good.
8 plus 5. Yeah.
That's very good. So you managed to injure the creature just a little bit. This time you managed to get him like more of a stab than a slash, which seems to work a little better.
Yeah.
Seems to work a little better.
If this is our spider from the book, if anybody has a critical fail, we're looking at poison or restrain. If they're using our spider.
Yeah, I think Ivan is.
Poison's pretty bad, and restrain, of course, means somebody is stuck, can't go anywhere.
Hechizo y sortilegio. Atrapa sus patas, and so I'm trying to bind its legs to at least slow it down and see if I can break a leg off or something.
Ooh.
Just manipulating it from where I am.
Awesome. All right, folks, I'm done eating in front of you. I'm done chewing
which does not
in front of you.
Very impressive.
Misses one of us.
People tune in and get to watch us shove popcorn down our gullet.
Almost a little bit bound for a second, but it's breaking out of whatever eldritch power you're doing to that.
Hey, this is entertainment for me. I'm going to have popcorn.
And
sorry.
just a strain of doing that as his legs kind of like break through. Maybe you can see the snares that you placed for it. Nobody else could. But as it's breaking that, it's kind of like a snap in your mind. Are you praying, Jarek? What are you doing? This isn't an initiative game, man. You just like start shouting.
Yeah. No, if by praying you mean pulling out my axe and trying to release this unholy creature.
Yeah, it's an unholy creature, no doubt.
Plane of existence.
All spiders are
yes,
unholy
I'm praying
creatures.
very hard.
So I don't think in the history of man, any culture's ever
spider?
worshipped spiders.
Yeah,
there have been serpent
yeah,
worshippers in the history of mankind, but
12.
I think spiders
12?
are universally despised. What do you think,
Oh.
Del?
Natural 12?
No.
No, not natural. Let's see, but still, cool.
Bridget, Nat
Excellent.
12.
Yeah, you definitely into this thing. It is not
Dirty.
happy. And you actually hear like kind of a scream come out.
Now, Bridget loves spiders, man.
You know,
What?
high-pitched,
Really?
high-pitched scream out of
She
this
does.
thing. Which looks a
Holy
little
shit!
bit like this.
I absolutely
yeah.
cannot stand spiders.
I'm not sure if that's one of Todd's.
Yes.
I
No, that's who is
I need
that?
a bunch of
Del.
illustrations
Who
of
did
that.
that illustration?
Yeah.
That's Robert Henry.
Robert Henry. Robert Henry. I thought it was Robert. Robert did the werewolf too,
So
I think, right?
as it staggers
Yeah.
back
The wolf?
from Jarek's axe blow, I'm going to rush in and try to stab it again in one of its many eyes.
Yeah, he did the wyvern, too.
Oh, so Ivan got the book. It just dawned on me.
And
Ivan's
that's a...
because we sent him a signed book.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just dawned on me that he got it in the mail because he shut it off there.
It's only got 7
Hopefully,
eyes.
everybody's getting there. All of the international guys will probably be another week or two. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Only got
Everybody
7
we had to
eyes.
send it
And it's-
international.
It's pissed now between all the it's really not very happy. And let's see, now it's got Jarek and Wolford trying to kill it. Jarek, the spider lunges for you. Maybe it's because it's got the eye closer to Wolford got poked.
Uh-huh.
It's lunging for you with those horrible looking fangs.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
4.
Oh no!
4.
With an axe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's going to be fatigued
4.
now. Isn't he?
Well, you didn't actually critically fail or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I had that going
Ivan
for me.
wants to see
Okay.
poison,
Nice.
I think, or
Maybe this thing
restrain.
didn't get time to really inject you, but you do.
Ooh.
You do get a better battering from those fangs. They don't quite go in.
He was like, that
Well, I
close.
feel like had they gone in, I really would have saw.
Yeah.
it. But you're definitely
They cut.
at this point.
They cut his face, right? The fangs, but didn't
That tracks.
puncture, right? He's got these
Yeah.
fang
I
scratches
bent down
his
and
face
I
now.
grabbed 2 rocks, right, each about the size of my hands, right, and so I whisper,
So what's fun about this is just watching people just be creative,
that
have fun, and be
idea.
creative. You know,
Exactly.
por la ley de simpatía,
have
les
fun,
conjuro,
have
I
fun,
smash
be
them
creative.
together, trying to get a piece of the earth to do the same motion against the spider, right? So to crush it between,
Right.
using the smaller rocks as a sympathetic thing for bigger rocks.
Is this spider in Washburn's
crush the
manse?
spider?
I mean, did this spider drop on him while they were in the
this
Washburn's
was-
home?
No crushing
Wow.
going on today.
Let's hope
That's
this wasn't
amazing.
Washburn's pet spider.
No
they're about
crushing
to-
going on.
No.
Okay.
They've stolen Lady Washburn's fancy cross, and they're killing his pet spider. It's not,
That's innate,
it's not
but that
good.
thing is really tough, right?
It is very
Yeah.
tough. It is very tough.
Dangerous.
And,
it's giant. Yeah, the bandits that they're going to waylay on the road are nothing compared to
Well,
the spider.
let's see. Let's be fair about this. The Earth does fly.
Watch out.
Who does it hit?
Well, there's 2 of them, right?
Ooh, holy cow!
One from each
He
side.
picked a tough one. He sure did.
Wolford and Jarek both get clunked by just
no.
large rocks that were meant for the spider. But maybe you guys are just in the way. Maybe it was just
Sorry.
Hey guys,
It's the evil, invisible wizards from Mars. They've arrived.
That's probably just because the melee. You're firing into melee.
Did those evil, invisible
really
wizards
was,
kill you guys, or just make your lives hells? I don't know what happened. Did they?
Jose's character.
Yeah.
When
Well, I'm going to keep hacking at this thing.
what we did was like if you had a crit fail in that game,
Mm-hmm.
the spell would backfire.
Oh,
And
right.
Jose's character was always assuming it was attacked from like they had wizards on the other side, that were hiding.
Oh,
sitting
gotcha.
attacking. So he never would blame our wizards, but
Oh, that's genius. Okay,
yeah,
so it was
you-
actually that was Jose's
Unfortunately,
spin
don't
on a
really
backfired spell. Love it.
connect with it.
Yeah.
But you get
Love
its
it.
attention
Oh,
enough
wonderful.
enough that it bites you.
Oh, wonderful.
Uh-oh.
So you're now. Let's see. What are you now?
He's now
Battered?
You're not
Battered.
fatigued. You're
Nope.
injured.
injured.
oh man,
Because the rock battered me.
And this
Battered.
requires
You're injured now.
and a
Don't
battered
feel
injured will
Don't feel
require
guilty, brother.
actual
So,
rest
the thing is
or
that,
healing.
Maybe it's because you're a little bit disoriented because of
Can't
being hit by a
just
rock.
get over injured
So you get
by
basically
hanging
those
out,
fangs.
right?
But no, it's got its fangs in you. So Wilford, what are you doing with
Uh-oh.
Well, the only thing I can do right now is try to attack him and distract him from killing.
God, we may
Father
see a
Jack.
TPK. This may only be about
I
a
know.
50-minute
That's what-
session. They all may die at the
Oh,
hands of a
15.
spider here.
this? Okay,
that's what I was thinking.
this manages to. You managed to get.
I mean,
its
it's
attention.
dangerous. It's dangerous.
Dead.
It's meant to be dangerous.
Gotten its attention. It's oof. What is it going to do right now?
Just its attention?
It's got its attention.
Oh, goodness.
So what are you
Just
going to do
his
something? Or is
attention.
the spider going to do something right now?
Well, I tell you,
But
so
it
that
got its
doesn't-
attention. Is he
Yeah,
hurt
I thought there
or
was
something?
more.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hurt. You definitely heard it.
Oh, okay. he heard
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
If
thought
you're
it's-
sick, yeah,
They're starting to
everybody
panic.
gets hurt.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
combat
it's-
roll without somebody getting hurt.
Yeah, no, my
Oh.
bad. I thought something else was going to happen. That's why
No.
we all just went like,
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought there was more coming.
We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's like,
Oh no!
no.
Then the blood, the green blood, gouts from the puncture wound.
At least it's not a wraith.
Viento, llévate la araña. And I blow it, trying to conjure the wind to blow the spider away. He seems we can buy some time at least.
Yes.
Maybe it'll smash against something, a tree or something.
It's just real quick.
Yes! 15! There we
Nice. Nice.
Is
Nice.
the fang lodged in me?
It was until
I know. It's something about that you
gust
just
of wind blows
roll that
this
dice.
huge
Yeah.
creature, off of you. And the fang. So maybe that's why the poison didn't actually get into you.
So he's pushed the
Because
spider
fangs
off
are being
of,
pulled out,
with a
this
little
huge creature
gust of
is being
wind.
smashed against one of the trees.
Oh, they're out. They are
And it's
outside.
like clearly, very, very injured at this point, and it's like deciding it's going to scamper back up the tree.
Nice.
I'm going to try and smack
Run,
it before it goes
run,
away.
gentlemen,
Of
run,
course you are.
Yes.
run, gentlemen,
Squish the bug.
run.
Squish the evil bug.
All right, that's 9 plus 5.
Poor Jarek, man. He's injured.
How does this creature, this horrible travesty,
Well, as
nature
it starts
How does it
scampering
die?
off the
It lays
tree,
on its back and its
I
legs
lock
curl up. That's how it
grab my
dies.
shield and get in the soft underbelly.
ah,
Damn.
and you're covered by. Just
Tell
green
Bridget we're
ichor.
sorry,
It's
but we have
nasty.
killed. They have killed a giant
And this
spider.
thing,
They didn't mean
it's gotta
anything
be-
by it,
It's
Bridget.
got to be 400 pounds, just like slams into the earth.
She's like this jumping
Brother
spider.
Dustin,
Nice.
is this the spirit you were calling?
Dang. She loud.
Is this the
I
spirit
didn't
you
even
were
try
calling?
to call any yet.
But
Nice.
you're not sure that you didn't call this creature.
Oh, right now they're. I
They're
believe that
blaming him.
Jarek would
did
believe
seem
that
too
Dunstan
much
might
for
be
me
capable of
at
such
first.
a dire. I mean, such a dastardly
I wonder-
mistake, right?
I wonder what dark powers Mott has
Ooh.
in his service that they might have foreseen our arrival at this place and tried to hinder us.
Perhaps, Brother Dunstan.
Tell you what, it's a hell of a hunter.
I need to pull up a picture of Mort, the inspiration for Mort, and share it here in this video. But
one's prayers.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So this is the character that inspired Mort right here.
Plays with things of the darkness. One may have the darkness play with them. That is all I'm saying about it. And
here he is.
This time I'm now going to try and pray.
So, the people watching the video can see this. This is
maybe heal myself a
the
little.
character that inspired Vadamat
Your leg
Mort.
does hurt a lot.
Yeah,
it's
one of my favorite bad movies, B movies.
Really,
I may have just ruined that for everybody who's playing the game, bought the game. They're like, dude, that's not who I had in my mind for Vadamat Mort.
At 12.
I should have told Ivan that before the session so he could do a bad imitation of Jack Palance.
He wrote a nat 12.
Oh, he did?
The natural 12 is like a crit.
For healing?
Yeah, let's see.
It is. That's nice.
Yeah, fatigue just takes rest. Can you try and heal me, Father, as well? I have some minor wounds here.
No.
Concentrating on my prayers.
It's one of those things. It could be a crisis of faith, Father.
Uh-oh.
It could be a crisis of faith. And I mean, it's only in that you see these wounds. You see the rips in your leggings. You saw the blood. And it would be as if the stigmata were gone. And you look, and you feel kind of a warmth in your leg as you're praying, with your eyes closed, and you look, and the skin is intact. It aches a little bit. But is this black magic? What is this?
Uh-oh.
Or was it just an answer to prayer?
Power of prayer,
power of prayer.
There is no crisis of faith. He knows exactly who's responsible for healing him.
Because it was a critical success.
I love how Jared turned around and quizzed Brother Dunstan about
you may pray over both friends. And see
if he brought it out.
That would be as merciful with them.
Okay.
So I think, and I think Jose is only battered, so his will heal in a fairly with just any kind of care. Battered will heal. I think. I don't even know my own rules. Shame on me.
9 total.
Let's look it up.
I believe, yeah.
Let's be rules lawyers on my own game here. Yeah, battered, I think you just have to get a little rest to heal from.
Man, I haven't took the gloves off here.
That's funny, I don't even know. That's so sad. So sad, Jason. Here we
Wow.
go. Healing and rest will cure battered.
Power of that silver cross. Can you really give it back?
So just healing and rest. Injured condition requires healing or curing to reduce injured condition.
Yeah.
And then if you are dying, you need to rest between sessions will only reduce the dying condition. So dying means, you really, it almost suspends your character's participation because one more wound and you die, right?
Yep, and you have to be.
So you'd have to be super careful if you had the dying condition. Until you can get a session
if you
off.
If you guys want to continue to the crossroads, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think so.
The dice just agreed that there might be a giant spider right about there.
It's awesome.
Sorry, man.
RSC.
So when we get to the crossroads, I move to the edge of the woods by the road.
I would love dropping that in there.
And I start looking until, I grab a couple of acorns from the ground. I look for a spot where I see.
So I love how
mushrooms,
Eloy
toadstools
manifests his magic through
if there's a
tangible things.
Ring,
it's so cool.
Better, but if not, a single toadstool will do.
Oh yeah.
He justifies the manifestation of his
no, I'm not
words of power through
and so
things,
when I find
which is so cool.
I set down on a leaf a piece of the bread, and I pour the honey on top of it, and on one of the acorns, I pour a little bit of the milk, and in another a little bit of the wine, and I set it on the ground in front of the toadstool, and then I start my spell. Right, and so I time it to coincide with the hours of twilight, right, when the sun is no longer visible, right? And I say something like, en la hora del ocaso, el dintel entre los mundos se abre. Hadas del bosque, escuchen mi llamado. And so I am counting on the hour of twilight, which is the threshold between night and dark, right? So it's between the world of mortals and the realm of fairy. And I summon the fairies of the wood with my offering.
Nice.
And I wish them to ensorcel this section of the wood, right? Make
He rolled 11 on that?
I don't think he's rolled
this
yet.
way,
He hasn't rolled yet.
Okay.
inevitably head in the direction
That's
of
left
our
over
town,
from
right?
his
to
healing, I think.
confuse, an illusion to confuse.
Or
So no matter
maybe
which
not.
way you approach the road, you're always going in the direction of which one is ours?
So this is what I call,
Dredgewater.
you know, part of our goal for Dark Age of Man,
So, and
right,
I
is the
offer,
players bring so much
you know,
more to the table. This
the wine
becomes
and
world
the bread
building. So he's creating
and the honey
these
and,
ideas.
Yeah, he's using
I
fey magic
promise
to
Yeah, and this stuff becomes
confuse
world
and confound the
building.
pay it
travelers.
tenfold
Yeah, so he's contributing to
if
actual
they will
lore
do
and world
this
building by
for the next movie.
right. It doesn't have to be written
Yeah.
in the book somewhere. He's creating this type
roll it
of
up.
magic, which
How
is so
Trust
fun.
everybody at the
difficult is
table
this
and then
gonna
they
Yeah,
add to
and
it.
it becomes world building. This
I
becomes
think it's
part
like
of their
one of those things,
canon,
like,
so to speak,
where
which is
where
unique
Jared,
to their
prayed
group,
for the,
right?
for
Their
the family to
world.
be protected. I'm not sure if I
as opposed to
or,
us defining everything in our book.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
We don't
Let's
define
see-
it.
let's see if
You
the dice
guys
decide
make it
for
your
us.
own, right?
Yeah.
Ah, 9.
Okay.
That seems to be the number of the night. Everything is a
Yep,
9.
there you
Can,
go.
can I lobby for a
What did he
+1
need, though?
for the offerings? And the,
I didn't say it.
I think the offering was pretty good.
9. 9's a pretty good roll. I mean,
And are you guys sleeping for the evening?
ooh.
Yeah, you got some rest.
See, and they
Yeah, I
naturally
think
did that lobby
It
for
would be good
+1.
to rest for the night.
All right.
I've got at least an hour and a half of prayers to do before bed.
Yeah, because he's
The
got to
general
make up for his
they're
two
not-
companions'
They're not ones
sins
with intent to actually
every day,
do
right?
anything
He's got to tally him in his
mechanically.
mind. Oh, there's another one. there's another sin. Oh, there's another sin.
Gotcha.
Oh, another sin.
All right.
Poor guy.
Like
He spends his whole
teeth.
night on his knees
Brush my
praying for his two
teeth, pray for Brother
companions.
Dunstan, brush, do my mouthwash, pray for Brother Wilford, get into bed, pray 3 more times for Brother Dunstan.
See, Dustin, you can go ahead doing your things. Jared will save your soul.
see if my callings are answered as well.
They have fun
In
just
the morning, looking at the
expressing their
offerings
character.
put out, they all seem to be gone.
Ooh.
It's the spirit. It's the spirit of the thing.
Looking,
It's what we do.
that whole area where you also see, as you're looking for where the wine was, where the honey was, you also see, like, under one of the broader leaves, what looks like a miniature pair of feet and
Oh,
ankles, but they're as if the person's laying down, like a very small person. Everything
oh
else is
God!
covered
Who
up by
knows
this
what?
blood leaf.
What is Ivan tripped up now? What the hell is he rolled now?
We'll approach slowly.
And the person would have to be the size of, like, a squirrel or something.
A squirrel,
These
holy
miniature,
Christ.
effectively, of, like, human feet.
A squirrel mamba.
And
Is that right?
And I will sit down in front of it.
Wow.
And it's morning, right? We just.
It's morning.
Right.
Should be neat to see that.
The
It's
RSC.
almost as if, like,
Seeds.
the way
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as if
This
the person's
is-
on their stomach.
Uh-oh. A little
Or
miniature thing on its stomach laying there.
So I sit down and I say softly, Spirit of the forest, dawn has come. Are you well?
No answer.
Uh-oh.
From someone else.
Jarek, are you watching Brother Dunstan
I'm not.
talk to the ground?
Nope. He said nope.
I've learned that Brother Dunstan does his thing.
So
And the less I know,
I love it.
the less I have to pray.
Jim's like, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but I'm doing my thing. I'm making coffee.
And I set it down in another acorn, right? Make a little dish out of the empty acorn. And
Oh my God.
say, again, softly, wake up,
Tea party.
spirit of the wood.
I don't know why, but I don't think this is an innocent
Break bread
little
and,
spirit of the
share
wood.
breakfast with us.
This is really interesting, though, if he'd rolled a seed on this.
Yeah. Oh, he did. I'm sure he did. Yeah. Well, there's not much else he can do because the game really demands the players follow
Did
their
I kill the
plan,
elf? Come
and then
on,
seeds
man.
come up. So he couldn't have
I don't
written
know.
this.
It's probably
You can't see most of its body. You can see it's like the calf, feet. And
So
like,
this
not
has
even
to
all
be
the
a
calves.
seed,
You can't see
right?
the
I
knees,
mean,
the back.
since
Hopefully
he's
you
supposed to
didn't
be
just conjure its
naive,
lower half.
he couldn't have put it
Well,
here.
that's what's joyous about it. You never know what happens.
Unless it's the result of a failed spell. I mean, if he failed his spell, this could be a result of a failed spell, right?
Yeah.
Like he zapped some poor creature when he messed his spell up.
The sole of the foot gently. I poke it with my index finger gently.
You move the foot a little bit, and it's got that kind of stiff, cold feeling.
Uh-oh. You know what, Del? Our
Like
game,
it might be like a dead
this
animal.
game should have a sanity check in it because this is smelling a little bit like.
Well, I tried to clear.
I'm thinking
away
Call of
the debris
Cthulhu-esque
and
here, right? They might need a sanity check in this one.
What you see is appears
Or at
to
least
be
Brother Dunstan
a
may need a sanity check.
roughly human figure. Proportions are a little off.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's got its hands tied behind its back.
Oh.
It's
What?
not naked, but it's got like some short,
Whoa.
not a loincloth, but like kind of almost like shorts, like small clothes on, and a ragged shirt. The shirt has some blood on it. There's it's face down. It's got longish blonde hair.
Whoa.
Around the head and neck looks like stains of blood, especially around the neck area.
Mm-mm.
Like on the ground itself. Maybe a drop of blood on the neck a little bit.
So I'll gently grab it and try to flip it face up and bring it closer and get a good look.
This thing has a wicked, horrible
CPR.
gash.
Oh man.
Damn it! It's the same thing they did to the men in the trees, right?
Well, actually, the men in the trees look better than this.
Oh wow.
This is like somebody. I mean,
A
like
brutally
could have cut his
murdered
head
little
off
person.
practically, but just wicked gash. And
Dang. Dang.
like the blood
Cool
looks. It looks. As you look, it's like it's still a little wet. Like this probably happened last night while you slept.
Yes. So I pour out my water bottle. Right now,
Jared's
sort of
coy.
clean the body
Yeah.
and wash off the blood. And I try to
Dang.
remember if there's
This is a
anything
conundrum.
like, funeral rites for the fairy folk.
Brought the forest spirits in harm's way.
Yeah.
That sounds like a mind roll.
Nice.
Doesn't bode well.
And that's a 13.
Yeah, I'm definitely
There are some
feeling
things you can remember
sanity
from
check
some
on
of your
this deal
obscure
right
forbidden
here.
texts.
Right, so, maybe it
Right.
involves...
But
Here's an
how to bury
example
them at
of,
the base of a tree and
Right, and
You know?
put flower petals on it or something.
But see, you can even do that with a mind roll.
So I
Yeah.
do that.
Bingo.
if you want to connect
Because it
somebody's...
it could fatigue you, right? A sanity check, make a mind check. You suffer fatigue for a shock, right? Or spirit if you were a man of God,
and
right?
you hear above you as you're laid him. Laid him into rest,
and it just creates a battered or fatigued condition,
and you hear this voice over you in the tree.
But either way, that's pretty intense.
We didn't deserve it, but you know our ways. Very impressive. It's a small voice, not squeaky, but small.
This is truly an awful thing
That's
that
interesting.
has happened. I merely asked for aid and not wished harm on anyone. Can you tell me what happened, friend? And I start looking to see if I can see the
he knows situations
whoever's addressing me.
And it's kind of like, that time when there's a bird in the tree, you can hear the damn thing, it's driving you crazy,
But
you can't see it. And you can kind of it sounds from there, it sounds good. Wait a minute, and you kind of catch a glimpse of a wing or something. It's kind of like that.
Nice.
Every time you think you might have seen something, and you hear them say, 1 moon, and we get paid tenfold. The agreement stands.
Wow.
Yes,
Don't you execute your own criminals?
that we do.
Some magic requires blood.
So, blood magic now. Holy shit.
Let's call it serendipity, if you will.
Dang.
I understand.
This is where you just bow and say, well, go on about your business, and we'll go on about ours. Hey, we're not interfering with your culture, you don't interfere with ours.
And let it stand.
Remember, tenfold.
Tenfold.
The justice of the Fae is the same no matter how dull you are.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
My thanks. I shall return by the next moon.
I know you will.
Nice. And so I back away and I go to her.
Dang. Dang. He's working with the
rocking back
freaking
and
Fey
forth
Mafia.
Yeah. Fey Mafia.
What in the hell just happened there?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna get up and go use the restroom as soon as I hear them ask
Jarek
what
is see
happened.
no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Unforeseen complication of my plans, but the bargain is struck.
Oh.
So,
Go urinate in the creek.
Yeah. Go urinate in the creek.
What bargain? Unless this about a moon. What?
Uh-oh.
well,
Now he's got to explain himself to
for the
Wolfred.
next 4 weeks.
What have you gotten us into now, Wolfred? I mean, Dunstan.
He said the deal's already been struck.
The Fae
That's what you want to hear from your
will
buddies,
direct
right? Your partner.
traffic to our village.
Right? Guy comes out of the trees and says,
Instead
well,
of
it's too late,
going
guys.
to
Deal's
Lord
done.
Lot's, land still come to us.
He slapped.
So trade can resume. In exchange, I shall pay 10 bottles of wine, 10 loaves of bread, 10 jugs of milk, and 10 jars of honey.
For a moment, I thought it was tenfold the blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the bargain I struck.
And as you're speaking,
All of that wine and everything was supposed to feed the people. Now they're giving it to
really
the
having a hard time
mafia, the
believing.
Fey Mafia.
you hear
So much for all that stuff they were going to
coming
feed
from
the people
north.
with. It's gone now.
Look
Like
here.
they,
Look what happens.
Eloy. You hear the horses, you hear the voices of people, see the dust, and you hear these people that are and you hear them talk, and you get the idea that they're supposed to be going to Morts.
He said he's having a hard time believing he rolled
And
that,
so which way is his lens?
which
This way,
always happens.
pointing right towards. This is right towards Dredgewater,
Nice.
and a several wagons kind of go by.
I get
Maybe
the
they don't see
feeling
you
that
because
the
they're just so busy. Which way is Mort? Yeah, this way.
No, that's right. I was going to say that let us hide in the woods. So,
Yes.
And to break in the fourth wall or whatever wall it is, I literally roll one of the things
Yes.
on my
Oh,
number
it's so
52 on my
true.
list is
Anthony's
merchants.
right on.
Merchants.
No explanation
nice.
of what
Right
merchants
on.
were.
What he
Not,
said.
you know, but just like, or why,
I get the
how
feeling
I
that the
use merchants
potent,
at that moment.
potent
That-
tea
that's
of
the thing,
vengeance
because
is
I just-
brewing
I
in
just
the
resolved the
group
last thing I
for these
rolled.
crimes.
So,
That's
yeah,
exactly
merchants.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
That's awesome.
That's
Yay,
awesome.
dice.
So you literally watch your plan for diverting trade at least towards Dredgewater. Whether they'll deal with the people of Dredgewater, who knows? But there's several carts that are going that way.
Manifest.
They're heading in the right
Seems to
direction.
work.
Mm-hmm.
They're heading in the right direction.
I need my reading glasses. I'm having trouble reading what he
And so you watch
was
them go.
writing there.
You get a setting.
say.
Increase text size.
Yeah, I've got a little monitor on my desktop, so everything is.
Get a little magnifying glass.
That's why I'm always switching glasses so I can read. There we go. Now I can see.
Like milk and honey or something like that. You
Oh,
explain.
that's
Right.
Jose playing
I'm just a
Wolford. See,
warrior.
I didn't even know that. I
No
got my
need to
glass on. I know
concern
that's
yourself,
Jose.
Father. Let's just say that trade
I was wondering who
has
that guy in
resumed
the bottom left
for the
was.
village of
Jose.
Dredgewater.
This is going to cost me extra prayers, isn't it,
Oh, geez.
Dunstan?
It probably will.
Yes, okay. Mm.
And you all
Hey.
having had a night of rest feel fine. You know,
But,
you're
but
really.
Jarek, I mean, do you think you should ever pray
geez.
any less for us? Come on, man.
There are only so many hours in the day, Mr. Wolford.
Correct. So better make good use of them.
I have
Speaking of
bills
that,
to eat
Better
and
make
sleep
good
to
use
get.
of them.
speaking of that, we're burning.
If you're not
Let's go.
if you're not praying for your companions, what use are you,
Where are you
right?
headed?
Well, we should head for Mort's lands, right? Take a look at his stronghold, see what kind of patrols they have, that kind of
It's
thing.
fun.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, damn. All right. So you're able to
Uh-oh.
follow the,
Oh, damn, he
the
said.
road to the
So
top.
he rolled something. He had to look up and went,
You know,
oh,
you have to
damn.
map on his understanding of the maps.
I
And
know.
it takes
I
a
get a
good
kick
part
out
of
of
the
watching him
day.
roll. He goes,
He said,
It really takes a
dragon.
day, you know.
Let me look that up.
So you're going to have to camp
Dragon.
at night.
Oh, damn.
You're not accosted by any spiders or wolves or anything horrific.
oh, jeez.
Succubus.
Every
Right.
once in a while, Brother Dunstan could swear he hears something up in the tree. Just a little, you know, for a while. Something.
It's improvisational, fun,
sometimes all these swear you
fast,
can hear.
furious.
Sometimes Jarek swears he hears something. Maybe one time Jarek might have caught. Was that a little man?
And surprising.
Couldn't have been.
And surprising. That's right. Yeah. And
You know.
yeah, definitely. It should be
Nothing's
as much
contrived,
fun.
it
It should be
just-
as much fun
No.
for Ivan
But
as a player as it is.
there are no little corpses when you wake
Right,
up.
as
There's
much a
nothing-
surprise for
nothing's been
him.
molested. But you get to the point where you realize you're past, you know, the lands of Washburn, and you're on the road heading towards what you understand is Vodemad Mort's lands, and all of a sudden, as you're kind of coming around a bend, you hear like horses coming your way. It sounds like several
Uh-oh.
coming from the south, coming from the direction that you're going.
I'm certain it's
Let's go for it.
it's friendly bread.
Of course.
I'm sure it's friendly bakers out
Bread and-
giving away
and-
bread.
Yeah, and wine. And wine and honey.
Yeah, and wine, honey, milk.
Luck.
I mean, don't make me.
I got a +1.
We'll go for it.
Oh, nice. Nice.
8. Okay. You know, maybe it's just maybe the fae are looking out for you. Who knows?
I always got this perpetual
But
smile on his
if you're able to
face.
get in the woods like just in time,
He loves discovering this stuff.
just
Oh,
before
yeah.
like noise
Oh,
with like the noise you make would alert somebody. But there's about 12 men that go by on horseback, clearly in Vodemad Mort's livery.
Ooh.
You know, armed to the teeth. This is clearly a patrol.
Uh-oh. And they are not
really. I mean,
for those following along at home. Bonaparte men are not
the weapons on these
Yeah,
guys.
not the usual.
They're not the
You
usual
understand,
bandits.
I mean,
They are
a little bit of White
mercenaries.
Washburn, like, just does not weapon.
Yeah, this could be interesting. And they on a
Those
critical
guards
failure,
of-
they
of
ransom your
Washburn's
ass.
would-
They'll take
wouldn't
you
stand a
captive and
chance
ransom you.
against an equal number of these men.
You will suffer 2 wounds and or are taken captive.
They've got scars. These guys have been in fights and
for ransom. So
Maybe
so
they
for a
should-
critical failure, and you're ultimately detained despite
Just,
your wounds.
Wilford can look at these men. These are tough men. These men have seen action.
You better lay
They
low.
probably fought off northern invaders. Who knows?
So critical failures in
warriors.
combat can
Oh, yeah.
be very interesting narratively, right? Because bam, somebody's going to be ultimately
Let's
restrained,
information.
taken
Let's see if
captive.
we can get closer.
Yeah.
What?
Could be.
We're gonna let him pass by, right?
Yeah, we wait for them to pass by, obviously, before we discuss them.
Okay, I was making sure you didn't want to get closer to them.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, fellas! Hey, wait for me now.
Oh, we want to get closer to Mort's.
Yeah. The way I see it is, if they ride by, if 12 ride by, that's 12 less men we got to deal with
You're
when
a
we go
bunch
to
of
Mort.
sissies,
So
ain't ya?
I would hustle because that's 12 less men they got to deal with.
Bunch of sissies, I told you. Okay.
I think he's laughing again, like he just
Alrighty.
rolled another killer roll for crying out loud.
So,
I know.
having
Again,
you don't
if
come
this
across
was a
any
rap group,
trolls.
his name would be right.
Yeah.
Mischievous DM.
And you finally start to see you're seeing this, the same sort of things you'd see around.
He's just a bass player, though. They don't have
around
any nicknames.
Washburn.
Bass
You
players.
start to pass like homesteads. Not everybody's like dressed in black from head to toe, and carrying weapons. They're just like normal people. You start to see sheep. You start to see, some cattle. You start to see chickens, and then you're getting
Chickens.
closer.
I wanna
and
see these
closer to
guys
what's
catch
clearly,
chickens for the
like
next
a town
15
like
minutes.
Bridgewater, but it's
Right. Wolford
nicer
chasing
is the
chickens
wrong
around.
word. It's better fortified. The condition of the buildings is better. The condition of the people seem to be better. A couple of people are giving like sideways glances, but nothing super alarming. You don't see any people in Mort's livery, but you see, up on kind of a hill,
I'd like to see him name these
stronghold.
sections.
and
Yeah.
most of it is like covered by woods. Like it's just not out in the open the way that the Washburns is.
It's kind of hard to name
So
them
some
because
old
technically
oaks and things.
you don't know. You name them. You have to name them after the
But
fact,
it's
but you
a
have no
strong
clue what's
It
going
looks
to happen.
much tougher.
So you really have to name it
Much,
afterward, which is what I do. I name everything based on what's happened in the
built.
session. But
Better stonework, thicker stone.
you could go back
Thicker
and
oak
name them
gates.
after the fact. But
You can clearly
that's
see
what I mean.
some guards on it now. In the distance, you'll see little stick figures practically. But clearly, Mort has a stronghold.
mm-hmm.
Need to draw those down.
Heavy patrols.
Very well defended.
Somebody's probably building something in Jim's driveway again. He just told us in the chat that he's hearing funny noises. So last time he had to go early. His neighbor was building something in the middle of the
Oh
night.
God!
I was assembling shelves in the driveway at 9:30.
At 9:30 at night, that's crazy.
Nice.
So, well, as long as he's not digging a hole in his garden, right? That's when I get suspicious. What is
He
he?
was assembling caskets in the driveway.
Yeah, when the guy's out with a shovel in the dark digging in the garden, I go, "What are you up to, man?"
You see, like now that you're like in a bit of the town proper, and once again, people give you looks, but they kind of look you to give it a stranger, nothing like really untoward.
We should just go to the tavern and have a drink. See what
Yeah.
we hear.
Do a little investigation of the situation.
That's a good idea.
Hey, let's go in the
So-
tavern and have a drink. Good.
Tavern's called the
Rumor
Green
mill.
All right. I keep my shield up in case a crazy wizard rides by. Chaotic wizard rides by.
And as you go in, like it's darker. There's clearly a joint of meat and a pot of soup on. And man, it smells better. It smells better than the black leaf. looks better than the black leaf.
Jim always comes in and is wondering what's going on. What do you mean? What smells better?
And
the look on his face, like, what do you mean? What smells better?
Tall bartender with just a sort of like a whitish mustache, like just kind of chiseled almost. Good looking fellow, probably in his late 40s, starting to go gray, but just
old man.
Appears to be really
in Dark Ages. He must be
really
must be magicked up if he's 40
Travelers,
and
what
looking
can I do for
in
you?
the Dark
Merchants?
Ages. By the time you're 40 in the
some
Dark
traders
Ages, you
in
haven't got
soon.
any teeth left or anything.
I was about 37.
We're just
He's
passing
37.
by.
Yeah.
We'd like to have
You
some
might have
beer.
like one yellow tooth left, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
Some-
A couple of black
There's some nice-
molars,
They say so far the barley crop's been pretty good this year.
He's got a saucy
Nice
winch.
town. What's its name?
Saucy witch.
What the hell is the name of this town?
Mortville.
Yeah, it's Mortville. Of course it is.
Mortville. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was
Roost.
thinking. Yeah,
Mortville. It's perfect.
Mortville. The land's a bit about
It's
more.
Mortville. I should have thought about that.
I'm from
I should have
North,
wrote that in
so
the
I
book.
know
I
this
should have
area.
thought of that.
You must
Mortville,
have a
it's
kind
perfect.
word that you live so well.
He's got to write it down on the map.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a
Wait,
prosperous
make a
area.
note of that for the second edition of the book.
Kind?
We got to add Mortville.
Yeah, the updated version.
with a map of
I
Mortville.
don't know as I'd call them kind.
Love it.
Good.
What lord is kind of
soldiers, are you gearing up for a war? We saw a lot of fighting men riding by.
Mort's patrols. Keeps the peace.
You got a lot of Northman raiders here.
Sometimes, not too often.
Keeps the peace.
12, platoon of 12 men keeping the
Every
peace.
once in a while.
Homelander can
Keeps the pressure.
Compared to Basil, the sheriff in Dredgewater,
It's not.
who
Every
doesn't
once in
do
a while, I
anything.
suppose they fight off some raiders from.
I'm thinking if
from
I'm
Washburn.
from Dredgewater, I'm thinking about moving south. I'm going to move into
Stark.
Mortville.
Oh,
They got a
He
police
keeps-
force.
Start
That's
Lord.
all.
He keeps the peace by
Wait,
looking
Lord.
out the window, peeking between the blinds.
I don't know. Washburn doesn't just take him
He
out
keeps the
entirely.
peace by asking
What I
Wolford to
understand,
deal with it.
He raids some of the farmsteads up that way, up our way.
I think Wolford's a deputy. This is
There's
too
a
much
lot of
fun.
these attacks?
Just too much fun. Fortunately, these
Oh,
guys
I don't
don't
know.
play every week, or my wife would divorce
That's
me.
what the patrols tell me anyway. I don't know why they don't just take him out.
What are you in there watching that
it
damn
would make
show
sense.
for again?
I know.
Remove them. A pesky fly like that.
They need to play like once a month. So my wife doesn't get irritated. What are you doing in
It
there
would.
again?
It would. But then again, I'm not a politician. I'm not a leader. I'm just a Merkel, your humble barkeep.
Very nice. So I sit by here and look around and say, I was hoping to be able to find some work, although there are already a lot of soldiers here. You know, if he still hires men at arms up in the castle?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do if you can prove yourself.
He's a cell sword.
You just mean you, right? No offense,
Oh,
gentlemen.
yeah. I travel with two holy men because it takes all their prayers to save my soul.
That gets quite the rise out of him.
Some of these lands are dangerous.
He's got two working full time overtime.
My soul is more than worth the price of protecting these men.
We should all have an
They're like job security.
Yeah, yeah.
Mortville is going in the second edition of the book.
Mortville.
We should all have an. We should all have such an entourage.
So,
I'm assuming that you guys probably want to, call it pretty soon, or at least split this up a little bit?
Yeah. Probably, we take our beers to a table, and I tell guys, maybe that's the way to get a look inside.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Ask for a job as a weapon.
It's got to be hard, man. I don't know how you guys on the East can play this late.
Something. And
I mean, for me, it's like 8:04, so I usually go to bed by 8:30. It's only 8:04 now, so see, I would be going to bed, and I'm fine, but I don't know how you guys do it. It's killer, man.
When I would play with him, man, one time I finished the game and then went to work.
Likes it.
Like it was like
Well, and when I played with you guys, years ago on Thursday nights, I was up at 4 every morning, and I was off at work by 5 in the morning, so it was tough. Thursday nights were tough, but at least for me, I was still going to bed about 8.
Ask if there's
but you guys are 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11. It's crazy.
Maybe where.
But again, East Coast guys are going to bed late and getting up late anyway. I mean, that's kind of the way you East Coast guys do things.
We got a small.
Right.
I don't care, but
I gotta get up at dinner at 8 o'clock at night, go to bed at midnight, get up at 9, right?
Is there a father that presides over this church, or does he come down from?
Give me a luck roll.
It's awesome.
No.
Come on now.
9.
9
total.
Ooh, nice.
Get the swing of it, man.
He pulls himself a draft. There was. You remember how you said that Mort must be a kind lord? I don't know what this last chaplain did, but he must have really got him upset. And he says, "Come here." He has to bring to the door of the tavern. You see over there on his stronghold there.
Mm-hmm.
You see over that on that tower what looks like kind of like might be a branch or something hanging down. But if you look really close, you can see little bits of black.
That's where they hung the last priest.
And as you start to look a little bit more, it starts to resolve into like a skeleton. You're like, man, I think that's somebody hanging upside down by their feet.
This is swaying in the wind.
Birds. It's really
some old dead monk swinging in the trees.
Hey, must have said something to him and really. But yeah, they're in need of a chaplain too. Hey,
though he walks through the valley.
Well, you mean to say? Oh dear! And I clutch onto my cross.
Look at it this way, Father. I'm sure he's in heaven.
Indeed. I don't
what
know.
What a way to go.
If it's the most holy way to depart this plane.
Oh, wow.
Might even make it to
I don't know what prayers that priest failed to deliver, but Mort made him pay.
I feel like some burial rites might be involved before one's soul is allowed to move on.
Now, as you sit there and just kind of like clearly shaken, put words in your mouth, and Merkel kind of leans in and says, "See, that's a nice cross, Father. Is that real silver?"
Oh damn!
As real.
This is why you carry a ratty old iron cross around. Nobody wants that,
Yeah.
Because they can smelt that silver down and they're good to go.
Yeah. He lives in his teeth too.
Why do you ask?
Why do you ask? He's got more wealth hanging around his neck than than the average peasant makes in 10 years.
I won't be cutting your throat for it.
Well, that's very kind of you. I like you already, Barky.
Yeah. Yes, that is so kind of you, sir.
Yeah, so I think we should feast on that beef that he has cooking there, and then maybe in the morning I can go and talk to the Lord, maybe see if I can.
There you go.
Earn some coin.
They're going to infiltrate Von Mort's employee. Well, Von Mort hires mercenaries, so.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're a little bit out of the.
That's not a difficult. That won't be a difficult sell.
What the hell are those traders? They were supposed to be here this morning. No idea.
Uh-oh.
Maybe some of this banditry you speak of.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe yes. I had some kegs of beer to trade for that salted pork.
they're going to end up.
said
They're going to end up heroes in both Dredgewater and in Mortville.
Maybe that's a
They're going to go build their reputation in Mortville now.
They're not there. They're in Dredgewater.
Right.
But his patrols, I don't know.
Right.
I didn't think they'd find them, but I'll tell you what. I'll bet you tomorrow. You know, I bet you tomorrow you could present your case to Mort himself, or at least to some of his guards. Usually, you have a few men come down here in the early morning, about 8. Come in and grab some things here, but.
I wonder if this was an RSC. No, they said they were going to the tavern, right? So this is the players directed this,
they
right?
might let you in.
As opposed to an RSC.
Yeah.
Mort himself.
Because they went to a tavern, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, Wolford.
So the players created the tavern.
Promising.
Technically. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we haven't seen another RSC since the.
We'll have a session 3A.
Yeah. Awesome.
And so, Jason, if you're watching, there'll be more.
Yes. Awesome.
There's
Yes.
something going on.
Yeah.
And then
I cannot.
Jim's going to run Hex for us
wait.
soon.
Yeah,
So
all the words.
But I would be okay wrapping this up, tying a bow on
words.
this before I do that. Just
Okay,
because
cool.
I don't want to leave it hanging. Like we get into Hex and we do that for a month, and
Yeah.
Right,
then we're 2 months away from it. You know,
right.
we did away with the September or with the cliffhangers at the end of seasons.
Yeah. Right.
So Jose's out next Thursday, and then so we have the 14th and the 21st because I can't on the 28th, but everything else should be fine.
Yeah, 14th and 21st, I think are. I
Von-
think
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be
Von Mort
educated
must-
when they're not.
Wrap this up, right?
Von Mort must die.
Right.
Kill
Yes.
Mort.
Kill
well,
Mort. Get
we'll see what
Mort.
happens.
We've been
Get
trying
Shorty,
to figure
right?
out how to get there. That's the whole deal.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I have this image of Father Jarek, but his robes are yellow with black piping, and it's Kill Mort.
Volume 1.
Volume 1.
Right.
Oh my God,
That's
that's funny.
fantastic. So just to be clear too, like today, I rolled Riot. That was the first thing that was on my
Nice.
list. Was Riot.
Yeah, I gotta
So
hear this.
that
I
was,
gotta hear
so
this.
there was the inciting incident. Was just that like Mort. I mean, was that Washburn wants you guys to do something. He wanted you to go, find more. We already talked about that. We might as well go look for more.
Yeah.
But it was Riot. Next thing I rolled was 13 giant spider.
13.
So I'm like, okay, well, the giant spider's not going to be in his
Right.
compound.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here.
Vicinity.
Yes, see, I missed
Well,
that.
okay,
I
where are these
thought
guys
they were
going?
still
Right.
inside when
Like a
this
Forest
happened.
Hunter. Yeah, it's a
So I somehow missed that
That was
yammering.
awesome.
Yeah.
Place to put it. Awesome.
That was awesome. That's
All right,
dangerous
next thing
too.
that
Very
happened,
dangerous.
What did I roll? I rolled 9. Prisoner executed.
Oh, nice.
I had no idea what that was going to be.
That was the elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been. It could have been.
Yeah.
Oh.
Could have been one of
You know,
us.
it could have been the guy that Lord Washington had. You could have already been Lord Mort's lands,
Right.
and they could have executed a prisoner. Who knows?
Right.
What, I'm like, okay, well, you've called the Fae here. I guess they have a
I
prisoner.
love it. Yeah. And that's
You know,
the goal. So
and,
if you make your
then 15 was
RSCs
merchants.
vague,
I'm like, you got to be
based on context
Yeah.
of what the players are doing or have done,
So
you
they
can
had done
fit
it
it
perfect.
in a very.
And then,
I mean, that was
11 control
fantastic.
Of Mort's men,
Right.
which could have happened anywhere.
Right.
So you're on that way anyway, and you very wisely
And
did.
again, because of the world building of the Fae,
Because the
that's
spider was pretty-
already
pretty
happened
awful.
in the first session
Yes.
with
Yes,
the
it
Fae
was.
creature,
That
and
thing
then
is difficulty 12.
Eloy referring to the
House of
Fae.
11, and you don't want
Right,
to critical.
I mean they've created this world building where the Fae is a
Poison's
definite
different
thing
than
that's
other
happening in the
systems.
world.
And then
It's
then I rolled
genius.
something else.
It's
which I'm not
genius.
gonna tell you
Yeah.
what it was.
It just
It
springboard
becomes
off of
it becomes
Because-
their
I'm just
Dredgewater,
really- I'm
their
just really
uncle,
glad
It
I-
hasn't
their
really
dark,
happened,
you know.
I
And so now we
resisted
get
my
this
generalist
Fae tiny little guy
generalist
that's been
instinct
executed by
and
the, as you said, the Fae
bumped body
Mafia.
all the
Where it's
way
just
up to 4
awesome.
Early on.
Yeah.
You know?
Otherwise, I would have been dead here.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So that
They
the
gotta
comments
pay
are
their
like, you know, I mean,
protection.
you're definitely
Yeah.
it definitely helped.
they
because
got- they
you had
now
the,
owe for what they've
ability to heal
witnessed,
yourself,
right?
And because Jarek actually rolled really well because you were
Yeah.
pretty banged up
Yeah.
at that point.
Needed
Power
to.
of prayer.
I
Yeah,
rolled
however.
a lot of 4s and 5s today. That was like the number.
That's-
Like roll 5,
And
Yeah.
roll 4.
usually with your skill, that's a good roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
But
yeah.
if it's a really tough
Yeah.
monster, then
That was the thing. It was a 12, and so it was like, and I could have I could have reduced the difficulty of it a little bit, but it was just because situationally. But it was like I think it was the hardest thing was figuring out what to do with those claws of the rocks that you were. And I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to like hit you, but like, okay.
What we have to start doing though is trying to help each other overcome those high hits.
Numbers.
We gotta start thinking outside the box, and instead of attacking, see how we can help each other.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Because
could.
when you got something that's so hard to hit, maybe you can do something.
Yeah.
Right.
So
exactly, he can actually lower the DV for Ulfrid.
I kind of tried to slow it down.
But he can pray. He can pray to.
My thought
to
had I got a success is maybe instead of
slow the spider or whatever.
Damage,
either way,
I paralyze it, or at least I.
And he's right though. The DV then gets lowered, right? Because if you never work to lower the DV, some of these creatures will decimate your group.
That's good.
You have to strategically.
It's open like that where you can. I just call it alley-oop.
I tried to get myself some stuff.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying I'm using a spell not to wound it, but to slow it, or he can pray to God, please bless Ulfrid. God, please, and that gives instead of a bonus to Ulfrid, it would lower the DV for that one.
Little brother, you may wake up now.
So I mean, it's completely flexible for players to, to imagine how they're handling these situations.
But it was interesting. It's like, did I mess up the spell?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Again, Ivan folded that bin beautifully, and it was, to be honest, it was creepy enough that I was thinking a sanity check because that was creepy.
Yeah, and then
Oh, that was good. I was so happy I rolled high on that one because it's like if I mess up this up, they're gonna be angry. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, and I figured this guy was just kind of like bemused.
Yeah.
Like, wow, he's burying the prisoner right.
Oh man.
So and you really kind of.
So an hour and a half of entertainment, very easy to prep for. They already know who the characters are, and you're rolling dice.
They got traction.
I mean, an hour and a half of fun and pick it up, go, have a good time.
Yeah.
You can also have intense, deeper,
Every it's a handshake. Everybody across the table gives.
Deep in hostile territory. Unfortunately, you're healed.
Yeah.
And we have a completely stupid, harebrained plan to do this. So I love it.
Just as it should be.
No plan is harebrained.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was forced to come up with the name of the tavern. I'm like, well, who else would be running it?
That sounds fine.
Merkel.
Yeah, he bought one, he retired to the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Mortville and Merkel. Merkel and Mortville.
It was awesome. Thanks for running.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Merkel of Mortville.
It was awesome.
The best part was like, Mortville. I'm thinking like, we can't call it Mortville. And you're like, well, you said like Mortville.
Thank you, guys, for running our game. We are so appreciative.
All right, guys.
All right.
Awesome.
Y'all take care.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Let me dump YouTube. I don't know if we want to talk long because I know we both have spouses to get back to, right?
Oh yeah,
we can check.
I gotta get but no, I enjoyed it. What I really enjoy is seeing the joy on their faces.
Oh yeah,
I could tell when I would roll something. One time he said like, I can't believe I just rolled this. Like it just works together. And so many times when I'm playing, I've did that and you go, oh crap. And you have that little light bulb go off and you go, oh man, this is.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's
engaging.
It definitely, the process that we started years ago with Naive Narrator and these concepts, it actually saved me because I had retired. When I came back, even I said I just want to play. I don't want to GM anymore. I was GMing some local stuff, doing the old school stuff here, once a month or whatever. But honestly, when I started toying with these ideas and running simple games, and I found joy again in GMing, and I was liberated and I was enjoying it, and a completely different experience than I'd ever had. And I wasn't one to prep heavily or write anything, but it was there wasn't a whole lot of joy in GMing for me. Like I said, I literally had retired at one point.
Yeah.
And then I came back and was just playing. And I said, well, I'll do some running, but I really enjoyed Blood and Bone and a couple of simple games and Fast and Furious games for the guys, but I was not GMing much. And at one point I said, I don't want to do this anymore as far as GMing. So, yeah, it's wonderful to see other people also just enjoy the kind of the fun of it.
We have to face it too, that, like you see those guys sitting there yawning, and we'll all do that
tired,
too.
But they're tired.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're not enjoying it. Otherwise, they wouldn't sit up and play a game like that.
That's right.
But the fact is, everybody's got busy lives.
Yeah.
And to sit there and think that there's been plenty of times, like a prep traditional games, and then it never even gets lifted off. Or there's too few people because you've set it for so many people and it can't go.
Right.
This right here, like I said before, I'll pick up the first session, you just have those random seeds.
Sure.
And it really just occurs, and it's placed appropriately for the number of players you got. Or, it doesn't really matter.
No, you can have 5 players and it works. You can have 1 player.
And it's totally player agency. You can sit back and you just let them go where they want.
Yep.
And you just respond in kind to what they do.
And they can and they can be more intense. They can certainly have political, Game of Thrones-esque, etc. We're playing some pretty intense. My first Chronicles with you and Brian and Sam were pretty intense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There was a level of
it's flexible
gravitas
enough
and intensity there that I thought was very rewarding, even though the setups are very simple, and then the RSCs, are that again is the joy of going, what the hell am I going? How am I going to do this? But yeah, and it's organic. Somehow it works. It all just fits together.
Well, it works beautifully. Nobody. To me, when you don't have the contrivance of or the steering, to me, there's something empty about playing when essentially I feel like I'm playing a choose your own adventure novel.
Yeah.
Like just reading or somebody telling me what's happening to me. Mm-hmm. And then I get to a point, what do you want to do, Dale? And then I just choose, and I tell him, well, I want to do choice A.
Yeah.
And then it's then relayed to me what happens to me.
Right. Yeah.
Literally,
I agree. And
the engagement of a player.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the engagement of a player, you're not really going to get there unless you lend that trust that you can have a mutual.
Well, I can't help it. I'm 54 years old. I've done it all as a GM for 35 years. I've done it all. I've played them all. And what happens is the older you get, the more you realize, the more experienced you are, the more you recognize everything. And so what happens is you feel like you go, oh, yeah, right, okay. Traditional games, I tend to go, yeah, this is really not about me. This is about the thing that's going to happen, and I get to make a few decisions as a character. In I won't say choose your own adventure, but I definitely, you do it enough that traditional role-playing or traditional games with the traditional GM and control delivery, and the players, they know they're going to kind of go along with it, and they're going to make some dice rolls, and they're going to experience it, but it's I hate to say it, but the older you get, the more you say, this stuff's just not surprising anymore. Then nothing is really going to be innovative or surprising. So what I found, at least with this, what was fresh to me and new to me was what happens when players are free to just go. And then on top of that, I'm rolling up an RSC, and I'm going to put this in front of them. I don't know how it's going to go, and I can't explain it, but it felt fresh, and I was liberated, and it felt very fresh, and it still feels fresh. Well, especially if I'm not the one creating the whole world for the players, when I invite you to set the scene of your character in the woods doing a thing, I've entered into your imaginative space, and I'm enjoying that. Like again, and then I'd say, Sam, where are you at? And Sam does the same, and then Brian does the same, and all this kind of comes together, and I'm still having to thread the needle. I'm having to weave all of your imaginings together and make cohesiveness out of it too. But then at the same time, I got to roll an RSC and say, okay, well, I'll fold this in here, and it is. it's a different kind of challenge, but it's not a challenge like work challenge. It's a challenge like, wow, it really isn't. What it's doing is it's asking me to build new neural pathways, and because I was building I am building, or was building. I mean, maybe not now. I've done this now long enough that maybe I don't have any new neural plasticity, but I was building new neural pathways through a different way of sparking an imaginative space, and doing so through basically improv, because I have to improv this role. That's not a wandering monster. Again, people will say, well, I use charts all the time, I use random shit all the time. But again, I'm not saying this has never been done and people don't do this thing, but a wandering monster chart is not the same as the players being already set in a world and pursuing their thing, and then we're going to introduce these variables that we just don't know. And it's done so simply that I can manage multiple people. I can manage you, Sam managed you in the South, me in the War Council yesterday. It's just not difficult to manage characters all over the map even, right? And I don't think a lot of people get to enjoy. Let's put it this way. Guys that have been playing for 40 years in D&D, they've never experienced that as a GM or a player, because rule 1 in old school or in D&D is never split the party. So I guarantee they've never had that experience, and the players certainly have never had that freedom, that experience, to even be on the other side of town pursuing their own interests, because you don't want to split the party. You'll all end up dead, or it's just too much work for the GM to try to manage the weight of these two, And I'm not saying people don't do it and they've never done it. I'm saying it's just not the normal experience. It isn't.
Well, see, whenever, like the game we just watched, whenever you have the players have an agency, they also have buy-in and accountability, and then they know that they can sabotage. Now, when Eloy said, I lay out this and that, he's calling on the Fae magic. It wasn't, and then Ivan sees this.
That's right.
And of course he rolls, and it says, dead prisoner, and he goes, the blood magic. This, okay, now they're playing off of each other, so Beautiful. It introduces that.
It's and yes then, and yes but. Yes, Eloy, and this is what
Eloy
comes
goes
from
like, oh, I'm in a compromised situation here, and he's hearing this, and what just happened here. And so that is what I'm saying, that organic, that handshake between players and the presenter, and you say, what are we building here?
That's right.
That created a tension with the player, and then he knows that it happened
because of something he did.
Because of something he did.
That's right.
And then Ivan is like, the dice and the random seed is what is interfacing here.
Right.
So then we see how it evolves, and this surprised Ivan.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, this is what this means.
Right.
And it's a joy to be a presenter.
Yeah.
And then you have situations that you can't contrive.
No.
It just happened. And it's player led. That's like Jose said, before we get there, I think we need, just same way with you said, like with Black Smith Dar, I think we need some information.
Yeah.
He goes, we need to stop, we're seeing this. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the first tavern we see and go in there, pick up rumors and get, okay. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
And so they play off of each other.
Right.
But they're also in a tavern now.
Yeah.
They stay for the night and then.
Well, and it seems counterintuitive. There are people who would say, well, that means there are people who will say, well, I want to experience the world. I want it all to be a mystery. And there's a level of the risk reward isn't there. But ironically, it's not true. It's counterintuitive. Eloy knew immediately that this could be fallout from his spell, right? And Eloy knows that when he rolls the dice for this spell, if he doesn't know until the dice drop. Is it successful? Is it a failure? Of course, that's gaming.
Exactly.
But a critical failure could be what? And then they're all. Literally, Ivan's going to be immediately improvising, well, what would the failure of this spell look like if you rolled a critical fail? So you're always on your toes, because a critical success, what would that look like? Ivan or Eloy would have to define that critical success. Now, our book says explicitly the players really should define the critical success. How would Eloy would have to really on his feet go, wow, what would critical, I didn't think about it, I just wanted to create a spell that did this. What would it look like if it's a critical success? And you're just constantly, but there's still risk reward. The challenge, there are people who think the challenge leave the game. Well, the challenge definitely does not leave the game. Just because you are capable of imagining and sharing that space and directing your comic book panel. I'm going to charge the spider with my shield, right? There's no rule that says you can't, or how you describe that doesn't mean any difference. It's a combat check, and we go from that Fallout. It's just, and it's live, and it's fast, and it's not cumbersome. And
it's natural. It's even flexible enough. Like Jose said, we can play off of each other. We need to start working as a team.
Yeah. And it's not cumbersome for the presenter. I can manage not only, we know the world setting, we've all shared it, we're dealt with it. I've got 3 people in the group. One's over here and 2 are together doing this thing. Brian was over here doing his thing. Sam was actually, I think in most of our chronicles, you guys were never in the same scene more than a handful of times. It was quite remarkable. Brian literally was doing a thing here. You were doing a thing here. And Sam was doing his. Very often you guys were. Literally, you guys might have met in a scene briefly, passing, or there was a couple of moments where you were together because there was a major event that was about to transpire because you guys came together to negotiate on the battlefield when that one, right? So, but it's not cumbersome. I've got a simple chart to check here. I've already know my inciting incident. You guys are doing your thing. I'm never burdened with any. It isn't work. It's just never burdened.
No, because like Ivan said, he said, "Does he have this? Roll. Let's find out."
Yeah.
He needs to know because he's waiting there. He's hungry for let's find out.
Yeah.
And then you put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Because it's like maybe some people playing with a Lego set. Okay, I got these pieces. What can I build? Yeah. And you're sitting there waiting for it. You don't want to sabotage it by presupposing anything. You just go, let's find out. So you're eager to call for those die rolls.
You're damn straight. And this is funny.
What about being
and it's funny that you say that. Part of what inspired this style was I got tired of having to have all the answers. As a GM, I got tired of having to answer your questions, yours and Bill and Steve and and it's like, Jesus criminy, these games create constant Q&A. Well, is it bigger than a bread box? Is it smaller than a bread box? It's 20 questions every fucking... I'm not kidding. It's 20 questions. And I got so tired of that. It's like, wait a minute. I don't know. Is it? And this is what I say. Now, if you notice in every game I run now of Dark Age of Man, you'll notice when somebody asks me a question, what do? I don't know. Let's roll luck.
Yeah. That's what was beautiful about
I have quit answering questions because I'm naive. I literally say, if you ask me a question, I am going to demand a die roll. So you better have a good luck score, because when you say to me, what direction am I facing? I don't know. Let's roll luck. So this is why I warned Brian in that game locally here a year or so ago, 2 years ago, when he took a -1, I said, not smart, Brian, because you're going to ask a lot of questions, and I'm going to say roll luck. And it got him, unfortunately, it was great fun, and he loved it, but it got him in a bad space. So it's one of those habits. It's not a habit. In traditional gaming, the players are reacting, and they are asking questions. It's just the way most games go. I don't care if it's Call of Cthulhu. I don't care if it's D&D. It is GM tells you everything best he can, hopefully well enough that you don't have to ask a lot of questions. So the better Anthony describes everything, the less Ivan is compelled to ask a question because he's got all the data he needs. But it's so difficult consistently as a GM to cover every angle, so a player isn't compelled to say, but is the door
a barrier to entry as far as a GM?
Yes. And it's a barrier to entry, but it's a barrier to the player, because then the player is thinking, and the reason this is nigh impossible in traditional gaming, the players know they can't act without information, and players are very creative. And Anthony, as well as he describes the scene, he doesn't know that Ivan creatively is going to think, well, where's the door in this room? And Anthony, it's the one thing Anthony didn't think to tell him about, the door. Right?
Yeah.
And then Anthony's forced to say, well, the door, it's on the right side. It's a door. There's a door that you came in, and then, there's a door on the right side. And then the next question is, well, is the door open or is the door shut? Well, the door is currently shut. Okay. So every game can turn into this Q&A. And it's traditional. It's how everyone plays. And I'll be damned until the day I die, I will be begging people, try not, try to let the players, as I said today in my recap, the roles in our game really should be reversed. The player is going, and the player, it may not be clear about his intentions, so guess who's going to have to ask the questions to clarify the intentions? the GM, not me.
Yeah.
So last night, Sam, what happened when you said, I'm going down the hill, I'm going to do a thing? What happened? Sam literally had to say to you, so your intention is to sneak? And that might have bothered you because you want to stay in character, but that ain't the point. The point is the roles were reversed.
Yeah.
He is doing, because he's naive, he should be asking you. When the GM tells you, he's not naive, and that's, there's a huge problem there. We get moments where we're doing it, and there's moments where we're not. Ideally, if the player is leading this dance, right, the GM is going to be forced to say, well, they're going to have to ask a few questions. And GMs aren't comfortable with that. So when I say to somebody, you're not going to like this, you're not, it ain't about just control. They are habitually the ones answering questions. And when I say to you what's going to happen in your experience with this, if you're doing it really truly the way it's intended, if you're following the real spirit of Dark Age of Man as players and as GMs, there's going to be a role reversal here. And it's going to be incredibly uncomfortable for GMs to not tell and know everything. And the more I give you space to say what you're doing and describe what you're doing and go for it, guess what's going to happen? The more I'm going to have to ask you, what's your intention? What are you trying to achieve here? Or if you're really clear, it's easy for me to say, make a mind check, make a luck check, we'll make a luck check.
You can still do that. Depends on the player, because I could be narratively cueing the GM.
Correct.
Well,
correct.
Like you said, Anthony could be describing everything well. So that's part of the narrative too, is to impart that information, to cue, like, oh yeah, you're sneaking. You know what I mean? Because I could be descriptive in doing that, and it keeps everybody at the table kind of in that.
But it's not a comfortable space for traditional GMs. I don't care how you're running games. I don't care what Powered by the Apocalypse says, right? I don't care what these other game systems claim the role of the player and the GM are. There is still a traditional role for the GM, and people can bark at me all the time. Well, other games do this too. Well, I beg to differ if you're running Dark Age of Man in a particular way. If you really are allowing players to give you their cinematic vision, right? There's a great book, one of my favorite books of all time, called the Four Agreements, and he talks about why we fight. I think it's four. It might not be Four Agreements. I can't remember now, but he uses the analogy why we can't communicate with our spouse or our friends, or we end up with fights or arguments with other people, and why they get so out of control. Is I'm living in my movie, and you're in your movie, and the twain never will meet. So unless you don't stop and say, wait a minute, now I know why I'm reacting like this to my wife, because I'm in my movie and she's not seeing the movie I'm seeing, and she's in her movie and she's seeing a movie she's seeing, and then you stop and you say, wait a minute, okay, let me stop this before this escalates. Sorry, I'm not seeing the same movie you're seeing. In a way, I want Dark Age of Man, I want to see your movie, and I want to see Sam's movie, and I want to see Brian's movie. And guess what? It will be cohesive, and it actually will look like Dark Ages, and it will look like this. As long as our theme is the same. If Brian wants to act like a jackass and a smartass and a jester, and you're serious and Sam's serious, then that ain't going to jive, right? You can't have one guy being a jackass and a clown, and two other players are very serious about the atmosphere and the setting, right? Yeah. That would be a problem, right? But that isn't normally going to happen with the culture of play. When you get three guys together and we set this atmosphere and this tone, which I'm still doing, I still set the tone when I say, here's the setup. It's the coldest winter on record that you guys have ever witnessed. There are people dying, freezing to death, and there's famine. I set the tone of how serious it was, and you guys all treated it that way.
But to me, it's all about a communal handshake, and I'll say the word handshake because of what I'm trying to say is it's a mutual agreement that you're going to uphold. Like I say, the players within arm's length describe, and try not, even though it happens sometimes, try not to step on each other's toes or take away agency,
right?
And allow that person to have agency over their actions and their character's description. And just the presenter, just reactionarily, mainly for the most, just represents the world with NPCs in response to player agency and focus, because when you allow the players to go where they want to, they're more engaged and they're doing what they want to. They're not led. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Well, we're letting people go where they want to go to drink the water that they want. And then to me, that's the best way to do it. Let the players go where they want to. And even like you said, they're free to go off in different directions or cross paths or whatever. They're not
or pursue their characters' motivations.
Their own motivations.
Yeah, last night I made a character who I was not going to just come into the space and be what I am in D&D, naive. So when I play D&D or Hollow Earth or any traditional game, I'm naive. I know my character. But then I just sit and wait to be informed by the GM. What we're going to do, where you're at, what time of day it is. Okay. And then I'm less naive as the game progresses. And then I'll encounter something. I've got to basically probe for questions. If they don't describe well, if they don't give me all the data I need, I got to probe for questions. So I'm less naive. Decision time. That's D&D, right? We're in a dungeon crawl. And we move through it, and they pull back the curtain a little bit at a time as we move, and they reveal something a little bit at a time, and we move and we react and we move and we react, and guess what? We pull back the curtain, and then we come to a door, and then we ask questions and we decipher the door, and then after we ask all these questions and we see things revealed, we then make a decision. Well, let's push the door open, right? Dark Age of Man is saying no. You are in this space, and you are a thing, and you have motives, and I want my oldest son to be married to Washburn's daughter. I went into that session that my character as the father of this 19-year-old boy, and this was one of the things I was going to bring up to Washburn at some point, depending on the opportunity as a character in a dilemma. Meanwhile, I wasn't just going to walk into that war council without doing some research. My character, I had to take agency, whether Sam wanted me to or not, because there's no way in hell I'm not going to make sure I confirm some of these rumors that I'd heard. I want to know what's going on before I enter that council. I wanted to establish a relationship with Dar. I may need it later. See, that's agency. I'm not waiting for Sam to say, by the way, there's Dar, right? Or or worse, later in the game when I want Dar, and I will have established a relationship in which, hey, I can call on this guy, right? And I really took agency in that opening. I mean, I had to. I just wrestled it. I just flat took it away from Sam, and the game supported it. I didn't make conclusions. I didn't create truth. I said, I'm going to go find Dar. Now, he could have asked for a luck check. Let's see, is Dar here, right? It was fine that he accepted that he was okay with Dar being there because it made sense Dar would be working. It's daytime, right? Dar's in there hammering away. But when I said, where is the young soldier? Let's make a luck check on that, right? I don't know where does he know where the young soldier's at? That's the system functioning, to me, optimal. It was optimal Dark Age of Man, and it's optimal communication, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to play it that aggressively, right? Players don't have to have that much. But I would argue, like tonight, Eloy takes agency with his spells. He took agency with so Ivan just puts in front of him the new information. Oh, you wake up, and as you stir, you see these little tiny feet sticking out, and they're belly down, and it doesn't appear to be moving. And Eloy takes agency and slides over and starts to investigate it. I would ask Eloy, did that remove you from being in character, or were you more in character? And I bet you he was pretty much in that place. He was pretty much in that headspace. I would assume, right?
But see, you have to be, because you're, well, to me, yes, because you're navigating through, like I said, you're invested because you helped create this.
Yeah.
You're a part of the grander creation at the table. Every player is. Mm-hmm. And then you're involved. You're not just a passive recipient. You're an active participant in what is occurring.
Yeah.
And like you said, you get to follow your own motivations and your own desires and your own, like, he's the one who conjured that concept and brought the Fae about.
That's right. Well, and what was amazing about it is even Eloy was thinking, is this a direct result of what I just did? Which means Eloy's agency to create it, ironically, psychologically made him connect the dots for Ivan. Ivan just rolled a random seed. Guess who connected the dots in the fiction, in the narrative, without contrivance? Not Ivan. Eloy did. And it doesn't matter. It didn't matter if it was true. Eloy thought I had something to do with this. I created this unfortunate incident. See, it doesn't matter what the truth is. It only matters that Eloy believed it. Eloy is a character. Wait a minute. I want to investigate this. Did I cause, right? Then we might find out some truth, right?
Well, you follow the truth where it leads.
Or we make a couple of die rolls, or Ivan says this is the situation. And again, we get this. And from that, this organic birth was this, as you said, you called him Fey Mafia, making him a deal, right? He can't refuse.
Yeah. Even the Anthony wrote that down there.
Yeah.
Everybody watching, you know the situation just got strange.
Yeah.
And it got precarious for him.
Yeah.
And maybe he did he was feeling that. Yeah. He was like, oh.
And we're involved because even you and I watching, we're talking and I'm having fun and we're chatting, and there's moments in the game where everybody shuts up. I mean, we're not even playing and we're not in character. And even we shut up and go, what? And we zoom in and we're there. I mean, we're transported there.
I know.
Right? And we're not even characters in the session playing. So it shows that there are moments where we are all engaged in this fiction. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but when I watch our Joth games, which I don't do much, there's no reason to. I mean, I've experienced it. I don't need to watch them. I've experienced it. But there are times when I'll go back and watch a little bit because it was fun. I don't know why I had so much fun last night, or I'll be laughing a lot last night. There's not that moment where when I'm watching it, viewing it, that I'm zoomed in and engaged. Of course, probably because I experienced it. So it's that mystery's gone. So I wouldn't do that. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But even when you're in the game, though, like at that moment when Jose asked what just happened here, and I was like, the deal's already been done. You know what I mean? There's tension between the characters. But earlier, like when Jim asked him, "Wait a minute, did you conjure this spider?
Yeah.
What happened? Did your magic?"
Mm-hmm. Well, and this becomes part of their. And this becomes part of their world building. Now they have to wonder every time Dunstan works now with this dark magic. They have to wonder if the things that have happened to them along the way aren't somewhat a result of his toying with the powers that are
and even Ivan said he could be tangentially affected by it because, is it? Right. Because when he was describing the healing. Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's exactly right. No, it's it's not non-traditional in the sense that we're role playing and there's a GM and there's players and there's the thing that they're doing and there's the time where the GM has to tell you, has to describe, and has to give you information, right? But then you're going to act upon that to some degree, and as you plow through, last night was particularly important to me because I'm not playing an archetype. I might be in character with traditional games, but very often you're playing an archetype. What am I going to do as a fighter in Joff? Well, I'm there to do the thing you do in old school D&D. We're going to get together as a party, we're going to try to survive, and we're going to kill some shit, we're going to get some treasure, we're going to hope maybe solve a mystery, experience some amazing NPCs, we're going to have fun, but I have zero motive outside of that. My character isn't thinking, right? On my way to the tavern, I want to stop and talk to, because there's no, even if you come up with a background for your D&D character, it's completely and utterly irrelevant to the actual session. It'll never be relevant to the session, ever. Exactly. I don't care what guys say, well, we always have these well, you may, but you're going to have to create another set of rules in AD&D for that, because AD&D is not written for that. It's not written for you to have this background that matters to the actual session, because that's not why you're coming together. You're not coming together to exercise some political ramifications because your character is this lord who has a son that you want to get on the throne. That's not AD&D.
Yeah.
Right? What are your motivations in AD&D? Well, to get equipped, go out and adventure, survive. Really, your number one ideal is to engage the adventure but survive. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love it. I was telling my wife,
treasure.
I was telling my wife, I have enjoyed Joth I have enjoyed the experience of Joth the last 2 or 3 sessions in which we've really adhered to some of these traditional rules that we normally hand wave away more than I have ever enjoyed D20 as a player, at least. Obviously, as a GM, I've had many, and it's reminding me what I do love about that experience, right? So, and I think ideally you want all these role playing experiences to be unique and different, but it's hard to do when so many games rely on this. There is this formula in traditional role playing games: a GM, a referee, a game master, whatever you want to call them, whatever their moniker is for that guy. And then there's the player characters. And almost every game has this procedure, right? And there's, again, that's okay. That's what it is. But what happens when you don't just say, well, agency's not just paying attention to the players having a plan that they want to do and you ignore it. That's railroading.
Yeah.
Where is the agency to actually share the vision in my head, right? And pursue my motivations and my goals, right? Which are still going to I'm going to still have to navigate what's happening with my. I'm still going to have to navigate what's happening. I'm an alderman. I've been called to the ward council. I can't not go. I could tell Sam I'm not going. I choose not to go, and Sam would have to forgo his entire ward council and send out people to hunt me down and say, why the hell didn't you show up at the ward council? Whatever, right? I mean, there would have to be there's a conflict that would arise from me just choosing not to go to the ward council, right?
Yeah.
Right? And
but
Sam...
It's about your character and what... For you to have total freedom of expression of your character's motivations, desires, goals, and to embody that and represent that in play, and it can't be on rails.
And why does that work
in our direction?
And why can that work? When people say, dude, you can't play like that. Yeah, you can, and I'll tell you why. Because all we're looking for is people to invest themselves in character as character and pursue the fiction. And it can work because all we're looking for is conflict. And conflict's going to come. It's going to come from somebody wanting something. They fail a die roll. They don't get it. It's going to come from an RSC that pops up in their face. Conflict, characters and conflict. I don't give a rat's ass about the story of Lord of the Rings. I give a rat's ass about the characters and all the conflicts they must deal with. All the other shit is details. It's just details.
Well, that's what it should be about. The conflict, it was irritated as far as you want the players to take a narrative lead.
Yep.
When Eloy walked into that situation and described what he was doing, and then at random seed changed the variables of that, and he knows that on a failed roll, he knows that there's a push of luck. He knows that things could go wrong. That's why he sat there and goes, I was really hoping that I would get a good, because it could go really sour. Well, he created those situations, and that's that sheer thing. It's not like you have the adversarial DM jumping on you, because what you're creating too creates the parameters that are malleable and can change. You're setting. He was. Sometimes you can set yourself up for the fall. You set your own conflict. The parameters of the conflict is right in front of you, and that's the beauty. That's why you allow. You allow the players to do that, because what they're adding. Is more to it. Like when you walked into that session, and you're all of a sudden bringing in Joff because you heard he was a troll, and maybe that he was malformed or
which by the way, I didn't create. I did not actually create that truth. That was actually results.
That was before.
So my character would have heard rumors of these tells.
Exactly.
But
there was a reference back.
I made it clear that my character wasn't sure they were just rumors, which is why I wanted to talk to Dar and I wanted to find this Joff guy. Was what I'm hearing true?
Well, that was plausible that you did that. It wasn't
correct. I didn't just invent some soldier and some bullshit story. I literally was pursuing.
That was from
the truth from the previous session. Right.
Yeah. So you were just playing off. But I'm saying, whether it's in the same session or from the previous session,
correct.
It's still in the world and it's acknowledged.
Right.
And that as a presenter, when somebody does that, when a character does that, then all of a sudden there's more that I can connect dots to.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and the more, and this is the thing. Why not let the players, and again, why not let the players have space? Because all you're looking for in our game is if the players have space and they're pursuing what they want to do and be, and also the conflicts you've already put in front of them based on inciting us or whatever, they're going to have these other things that are going on that are legit, plus their own desires. All of that is room to put in context the next RSC I roll. So the more the players are doing, the easier I'm going to be able to glance at these vague things and say, holy cow, does this fit perfectly in what Eloy just did? So there's this kind of moment, this voila moment, this oh my God epiphany when Ivan says, holy shit, this fits what he just said. But if I don't let Eloy say it, I'm looking at it going,
you still trying
I gotta contrive a reason for this wandering monster. But if Eloy is doing a thing or has done a thing, he's created this world building, this actual space in which I go, oh shit!
That's the handshake part.
He created it, not me. Now I'm just putting this thing in the thing that he's created.
Yeah,
right.
You want all this information.
You won't because I'm naive. Players. Because I'm not. If I'm playing it
more options
as a naive narrator, you actually want the players going for it because it's key. Because I'm naive, I don't know what the hell's gonna. So I need. Okay, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Okay, this is what's happening. Roll some dice. Oh, RSC. Oh, this is coming up. So I liken it to when I trained and I used the mitt.
It's like tennis, back and forth.
Well, I liken it to when I did mitt. I did a hand mitt training with my clients. So they'd put on the boxing gloves, and I would use the mitts. And I would say, just swing, just try to punch my hands, and I'll move my hands, and you'll have to find them and hit them. So I work on their hand-eye, and I work on their brain and their coordination, and they would get a workout, and I would change it. And of course, I had to be careful because if they're not uncoordinated, they could punch me in the face, etc., etc. But my point is, I want our presenter to be that guy. I'm fending off your punches, so to speak. But as you punch. Right? As you punch, I'm taking in that data going, now I'm not so naive. Eloy has given me this world building. He's given me a Fey situation because he just created a Fey situation. I'm going to make this thing Fey. And it all makes complete sense. And because it's so weird, Eloy immediately goes, wait a minute. This weirdness has to be as a result of what I just did. And it becomes this shared imaginative space that I talk about. But it's so difficult to describe until you experience it, and that's not to say they're really playing. I mean, I would argue they're not playing. Watching them play, it's not like it's so completely different. People would watch it, well, that's not that different than what we do. No, maybe not, but it could be even more. It could be even more, right?
Really, I mean. When you're watching it, it's a lot easier to watch since there's not the paralysis. But also, when you slip into the shoes, there is a marked difference.
Yeah.
Like even us describing it, like when the dots connecting, we use words like hot potato and I say the handshake because I'm trying to describe in some way how there's a codependency.
Yeah.
When you're. You know what I mean? But as a presenter, that's what you want. You want people filling in those. What are you doing?
That's
you want to know what they're doing, so you know how to apply what's popping up.
Yeah. Well, and
go, wow.
How do you get out of that traditional Q&A, right? And again, I know it pisses people off when I say all you do in D&D is ask questions, and then once you get all those questions that you can possibly get, you'll make a decision. And you'll roll a die if you need to, and then you'll go on to the next series of questions. And
to be maximally effective.
If I really explain to you what you're doing in most role-playing games, the GM delivers something, describes it in detail or slightly or a little bit or vague or whatever, but either way, it's going to lead to a series of questions generally. And then it's going to lead to a final decision in which you're going to roll dice. That's just the nature of the thing we call role-playing, right? What happens when you put the players in a position where they don't actually have to ask questions? They get to just take action. They just to act. They just get to be. Then it's the GM that's going to be forced to ask some questions, or the GM is going to have to challenge him. Whoa. I don't know if there's a horse here. Let's make a luck check. I don't know. Let's check. Let's get your mind going here, right? Right? And that's not to say they're creating truth or creating the actual reality. They should be doing this from their vision and their mind space and what they're like I said, tell me what's in the movie scene you're walking through right now is what I'm asking the players to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm walking through Dredgewater and I'm looking, like I said last night, I'm checking out the palisade. I'm eyeballing to see if his men are ready for war, right? I'm hinting, I'm actually cueing Sam to give me this. But what I'm really cueing Sam to do is to say, I don't know, let's make a mind check. Let's see what you can learn. Hey, let's make a luck check. Because Sam shouldn't know if they're ready.
Oh, yeah.
See? But when Sam answers the question, he's just told me that he knew they were ready, or they weren't ready. Right? What I'm really looking for is, let's figure out what the truth is here as I'm asking these questions. Right?
Yeah.
So ideally what I would like is, I don't know. Let's go ahead and make a mind check here and see if you can tell. Now, I don't care how you frame it. Let's see if you can figure out if they're ready. Let's see if you can figure out what condition the army's in. I don't care how you frame the role, but the role is going to kind of tell us all whether they're ready or not. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
So the mystery is in.
Exactly.
I'm telling you what I'm doing and what I'm seeing in my headspace. But the dice are going to actually answer the mystery to some degree.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you get pieces, and it falls together, and then you're putting it together. Yeah. I mean, really, to me, it's engaging. It's like a Tetris puzzle, pieces falling, and then you're putting them together. And you go, cool! I just made this combo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
what happens?
It's where you're actively engaged from a player standpoint or presenter. It doesn't matter.
If the players, and that's my point. So the players are naive, but only of where we're going. But they're not naive of their character, and they're not naive of their motives and what they want. So, if I recognize that's what we're asking the players to be, is their character, I need to be a tabula rasa Washburn because I don't know what they're going to come to
Blank
be at.
slate, yeah.
Okay, so when they come to me and I'm Washburn, I don't yet know what kind of Washburn. Now, our book defines Washburn as a sober Christian. That's fine. You can draw the base of Washburn from that. Right? But when, let's say, my character comes in and demands that he give his daughter to my son in matrimony, that's a prestige check. Why? Because he shouldn't know how Washburn's going to take this. My success, Washburn stands and says, that's a great idea. Let's seal the deal. Or Washburn can say, I like that idea, but he could then counter with an obligation. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine, but there's going to be a dowry for my daughter, right? I want you to pay, or whatever. I want, he could just demand an obligation, which furthers the communication. Or I fail, and the improv for him is he's got to come up with why Washburn would look his brother-in-law in the eye and say, there's no way I'm marrying my daughter to you. So the fun is he doesn't know how Washburn's going to react until I make that prestige check. Right? Yeah. If I make it, I pretty much get what I want. If I fail, he's got to come up with how Washburn would rationally, intelligently make sense and look me in the eye and basically say, there is no way I'm going to have my daughter marry you. And then we got conflict. What do you mean you're not going to let?
Exactly.
And now we got more conflict.
I love just automatically, like I said, they're getting easier with just like rolling the dice about whatever. And it's naturally intuitive reasons why you're prompted to roll that dice.
But he's only going to ask for it because I'm pursuing something I want. Make a mind check because I pursue by asking a question or by saying I want to determine this. Make a mind check because he shouldn't know.
Yeah. He's essentially saying, let's find out together.
Yeah.
So he can have the information that he needs to give your answer,
and he'll complicate it or muddle it if I fail. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
This is what you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple, and I just love seeing them enjoy it on a level of just like it being easy to understand.
Oh, yeah. Easy to play, easy to engage in.
Easy to interact with, and they feel, to me at least, looking at them, they feel like they have agency to follow and do
and
whatever they want.
You can't break it. They don't have to pursue They don't have to pursue a style of gaming that's that.
They can go
that's
that
player aggressive, right? What they're doing is 100% perfect, and the fact that Ivan is still naive and he's still rolling his RSCs. The irony is Ivan is, I think, for the most part, pretty damn naive, and it's obvious because it's creating these situations, and he's clearly having fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I know Ivan's naive. He's not thinking about how I'm going to project this story or this thing that I want to sell them on. Let's face it. We talk about player buy-in. Why are we always worried about why are we always worried about player buy-in? Because you're constantly pitching to the players something that's supposed to keep them engaged. In traditional gaming, I'm pitching, so they don't get bored or they don't act out or they don't go, fuck that, I don't want to go left, I want to go right. This is why this happens, right? Because the players, I have to constantly be, as a GM, so entertaining that I'm keeping them bought in, right? Well, what happens when we kind of pull some of this stuff away and we kind of look at the players?
The onus isn't just on the GM.
Yeah.
It's on the table.
Yeah. Right.
It's the equalization of pressure across the table where everybody is responsible for their portion of things.
Yeah.
Like
and I don't have
players
to
over
convince,
the characters.
I don't have to tell Ivan. I don't have to say to Eloy, here's your problem. Here's your dilemma. There's a trade route problem here. How do you want to solve that? And then Eloy go, well, what are my options to solve that? Well, you could cast an illusion spell. You guys could waylay some people on the road. You could hire bandits to harass people and turn them around. Right? In our game, Eloy's completely free to come up with how he wants to do this thing, and Ivan doesn't have to worry about presenting him with a conflict.
And
Ivan doesn't have to waste his energy with something that they would buy into.
But see, it also affects that Eloy has to immerse himself in the situation. What would I do? That's what you constantly want the players to do.
And while Eloy's enjoying that, and he's actually embracing it, and Eloy's actually going after that, what's Ivan doing? He's going, okay, I hear you. You know what? We're going to have to make a roll on that. Oh, I hear you. RSC. Oh, RSC. Where am I going to put this into play? Eloy goes on, casts his spell, and Ivan says, next morning, you wake up, there's this little, right? Did he roll that before the spell, and he waited and held it in his pocket? Did he roll it during the spell? Did he roll it after the spell? Either way, right, there's a certain kind of organic freedom here in which it can all make sense. It can all be folded in. Right? Yeah. And his job is really different than a traditional GM.
Correct. And he doesn't ask him how much prep work he put in it on that game.
Right.
When he sat down,
making your RSC chart, really. That's all you're really making is an RSC chart. Yeah.
And you just sit down and he goes, oh, crap.
And the inciting incident was, hey, we got some trade problems. We got some famine problems. All of that, if I remember right, was actually established in the last session. So he just brought that over. Yeah. So as they keep playing, what's occurring and major and minor dilemmas are just pulled over if they haven't solved them yet, right?
Yeah.
But the RSCs knew every session until they've dealt with some famine or trade problem, which was established actually in the last session. We got a trade route problem, right?
Yeah, in the game.
So he didn't have to even waste time coming up with that. It was already established. He just needed to make a new set of RSCs.
Yeah. But I mean, even in that, just through gameplay.
So Jose takes agency and says, I think we go back. We need to call the audience again with Lord Washburn and discuss how we can remedy these things. Right?
Yeah.
So Ivan shows them, not tells them, he shows them there's a riot and peasants are rioting, peasants are hungry. Poor Basil is caught in the middle of this, right? So Ivan doesn't tell them the situation. He shows them the situation. Jose says, okay, after talking to the sheriff and hearing their story, Jose says, it's time for us to go back and talk to Washburn about helping remedy this situation. That's agency. Jose and Ivan doesn't say you can't do that. He says, okay, let's make a prestige check as you, right? Boom, that gets him in front of Washburn, and then they have a great role play. He plays Washburn. Right? It's just this. Again,
the players are doing what they want to do.
It is this right here, right? Plant the seed and watch it grow, or watch it spiral due to an RSC that, as you had happen when I rolled a 3 in that one session we did in the flood, the catastrophic flood hit. Everything you were doing and everything you were trying to do was completely and utterly decimated by a flood. The game came about surviving the flood, not about anything you were trying to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Because even as far as major amount of dilemmas, it can change.
Yep. Yeah.
Just situation.
Whatever the major dilemma was, the minute
whatever.
you have dragon attack or flood or pestilence or literally the major dilemma changes instantly. The major dilemma now is literally a biblical flood. The whole goddamn city of Dredgewater, the whole goddamn town of Dredgewater is whatever their worries were are literally reprioritized to not drowning. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I know. I remember being washed down that river and having to either save the girl or let go of my sword.
Yeah.
It was like one of the two.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. But no, I enjoyed watching that, and just to see how fluid and how much they actually got done. Mm-hmm. And it was good to see the spider.
Yeah, it was really cool
having to deal with the spider.
Yeah, it was really fun. And again, there's an 8% chance, 8.6% chance that you're going to roll that 1. And they're lucky. None of them have rolled a critical fail, but that critical fail against that spider, that's epic. Right?
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
The critical fail that Brian had against the swamp hag. That was it. He was done. He was drowned and done. Right? I mean, that thing sucked him down and drowned him. In one.
You know, like even the recognition that you can work better to lower DV. Mm-hmm. You can. I call it alley-ooping, like working off somebody or working as a team.
Yeah.
We don't say that, but it's naturally, intuitively.
It is.
It like a light bulb goes off with players, and they go, "Wait a minute, we need to approach this smarter."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's.
Well,
I don't know.
because that's what
it's good to see it manifest.
That's what you would do in reality.
That's
you
what
would say. How are we going to just beat down this spider? You really, the reality is you might not have success if you think you can just hack away at it. Because every time, and here's the reason it works. Every time one of them fails a roll, they're going to suffer damage. So engaging it, if you don't engage it, it will engage you, and you're going to make a roll. And if you fail any of these rolls, you're going to take damage. And in 4 failed rolls, you're dying. Right?
Yeah.
And in 1 critical fail roll, you could really be dying in 2 rolls, or you could be poisoned, which is drastically going to affect a rating or an actual attribute, right? I can't remember what our poison does, but it's pretty serious. I think it makes your body -1. So, for instance, if Jose, if he's bit by the spider and suffers a critical fail in attacking the spider, I think and it's poison, it reduces his body, I think, to -1. So he goes from a 6 combatant to a 0 combatant. Bam! I mean, he goes from a badass warrior to sick. Yeah, I mean, because we're talking about muscle cramps, whatever it is, however you want to narrate why he has now gone from a 6 combatant to a 1 combatant it's a gigantic problem. And it is a death spiral. It would be a guaranteed death spiral if they don't work together. If Eloy then doesn't find a way to restrict the spider from attacking him further, right? Like they would have had to intervene because one more hit against Jim and he would have been dying. They would have had to put their bodies in his way. They would have had to intervene to protect Jim.
How does Eloy like being creative with his magic?
Yeah.
And every one of them, you feel that pressure luck situation. Mm-hmm. You know that you can't because your conditions will drop. And you have to be hey, the things that you do matter.
Yeah.
Because, it hinges. Everything hinges on that.
That's right.
You better come up with something creative to help change the situation.
That's what I've been saying for months when I do these videos. Who you say you are matters. What you say matters. Right? It matters, but it doesn't count necessarily until a die roll confirms it, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. It could be your detriment or to your benefit.
Yeah.
So you have that.
Yeah.
From that one die when you roll it, it could fall in your favor.
Yeah.
Or,
well, they're doing.
not.
Again, I think they're enjoying it. All that I care about, I'm going to be honest with you. I just want people to enjoy the experience, and there is no right or wrong way. There's and they got it, and they're playing it, and the system is supporting everything they're doing. They're not coming into some bug where they go, wait a minute, that doesn't work. And they're, I think they're having a good time, and let's face it, that's all I want people to get, right? I remember what it was like when I was a kid and I discovered D&D and the joy it gave us to play, and then we found Top Secret and that joy, and then Boot Hill and that joy. I mean, it was just, everything was fun and joy, and you hope that your game can at least be that for people, right?
And I want it to be more liberating, more open.
Yeah. Well, I want it to be a different experience. So hopefully they're having a different experience. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I wanted, like I said, to be more liberating and open to allow more people to play where the learning curve, as far as difficulty, wouldn't really be there. So you can, it's really intuitive. People would just kind of jump in there, but it's also, I think, lends to, I think people are, if they're not preconditioned to play in a certain way, it's I want it to be like naturally, like intuitively grasped to where people could sit down and just fall into it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
So we don't want to restrict, but we want to allow people to be engaged and to try to, it's like I call it a dance, but it's like an interpretive dance because you're still trying to.
That's right. Well, and I love watching Ivan give Eloy all the space to describe his magic and what it looks like and what he's doing with it and his intent. And it's not that moment where Eloy says, "I want to cast an illusion spell," and typical, a GM takes control and they tell you what your spell looks like. That just, it drives me nuts. How often do you hear GMs describe everything, and it's the guy will say, "Well, I'm going to cast a magic missile," and you'll hear the GM say, "Yes, and from your hand comes this glowing fireball, and it zips out and it zaps the skeleton, doing roll your eyes, damage 1d6. Okay, great. And the guy who cast the magic missile, all he did was said, "Well, I cast magic missile," and the GM does all the freaking describing. It's like, holy shit, and Can't you let the players imagine anything? Can't you let them?
That's why I said just.
Can't you let them describe something?
Can't you trust them enough that they won't? Overstep the bounds.
So hopefully, if our game does anything, as far as player agency, the GM will allow them to interpret their magic, interpret their combat moves, and then we roll a die to see who suffers damage, and then the GM's of course free to describe how the spider attacks, Jose when he fells his roll and what that looks like, and it's a shared narrative space.
The table integrity keeps everybody
that's right.
in line.
Narrative integrity. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, brother. But, I guess we should call it a night, man. You're gonna hate me.
I get
tomorrow.
No, waking up for 3 hours.
God, dude, I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm so sorry. And tell Bridget I'm sorry because I'm always keeping you. I'm always keeping you away, man. It's a bad deal. I don't want her to hate me. So she can hate you. I don't want her hating me.
And she get a little bit of a cold.
I know you.
Or whatever.
You're lying. You're telling her, look, I would have been in bed an hour ago, but Jason won't let me go. It's all Jason's fault. I know what's going on.
Yeah, there you go. All right, brother. It was a good time.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Have a good one now.
All right, you too, man.